Good day, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is Viper's Viperland, and I've returned. We're here. House and Fata Morgana, Chapter 4. We just started it up last time. Literally just got to it because we finished Chapter 3, did the little house exploration. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it'll be a happy time, Mom. And also, hey, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. I'm sure it'll be nothing but a happy time. Even further in the past, talking about witches, happiness is all that awaits us. Did I actually shake my water bottle? Oh, I think it was like $10.99 or something, but yeah, it's in the tens. So yeah, set on a pot, set it on, and also pour water into it. Gather the pieces thereof into it, even every good piece, the thigh and the shoulder. Fill it with the choice bones. Take the choice of the flock, and burn also the bones under it. And make it boil well, and let them seethe the bones of it therein. Thus saith the Lord, Woe to the bloody city, to the pot whose scum is therein, and whose scum is not gone out of it. Bring it out piece by piece. Let no lot fall upon it. Definitely, this is the one where she's a light-haired girl. See, look how happy she is. Look. It's perfectly normal laughter, right? Pure happiness. Where is she? Where did she go? She came down this way, I'm sure of it. Find her. Find her. And burn her. Burn the witch. Burn the witch. Burn the witch. Burn the witch. See, strong start. Burn her. 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 See, a great start. It's Then will I leave thee upon the land. I will cast thee forth upon the open field, and will cause all the fowls of the heaven to remain upon thee. And I will fill the beast of the whole earth with thee. And I will lay thy flesh upon the mountains, and fill the valleys with thy height. I will also water with thy blood the land, wherein thou swimmest, even to the mountains. And the rivers shall be full of thee. And when I shall put thee out, I will cover the heaven, and make the stars thereof dark. And I will cover the sun with a cloud, and the moon shall not give her light. All the bright lights of heaven will I make dark over thee, and set darkness upon thy land. The owl is the creature, the being reading all of those words originally. We are just translating for the owl. Seem to have lost them. Now, where am I? Where should I go from here? What am I to do? Darkness spreads as far as the eye can see. Not a ray of light shines down upon me. All that strokes my cheek are tendrils of darkness. Excuse me. I like how it says that, and it's clearly a super well-lit night photograph. Well, clearly super backlit, but like there is a bright-ass light there. Every passing day, every fading hour, my world is engulfed in ebony. There exists no kindness in this shadow, only solitude. I've lost track of how long I've been on the run, wandering aimlessly, lost until I arrived at this dark forest. I no longer have anywhere to go. O Father who art in heaven, I kneel to thee within my heart, and ask of thee thy blessing. O Father who art in heaven, I ask of thee to shine thy light upon me and show me the way. Please have mercy upon my soul. O Father who art in heaven, I do love thee dearly, hallowed be thy name. Please show me the way. I mean, we're in the wrong timeline, but assuming in the flaxen hair child's timeline, her father didn't go to hell for, adultery, he would be arting in heaven. I may be shunned and persecuted, and I may have no place to go, but nevertheless I am unable to give up on life, to cast aside my hope. I hope more than anything that I can see, because there's some people who have actually been watching these VODs. I hope I can see the timeline and just see an immediate drop off of viewership at that exact moment. At, what is it, 9 minutes, like, even? I want to be able to see that and just like, nope, everyone just closes the tab. It's like, no, can't do it, it's done. O Father who art in heaven, please guide me into salvation. O Father who art in heaven, please guide me. I can no longer remember when my life became naught but running, when it became endless wandering in the dark. And now, when I've reached the point where I've long since forgotten my hunger and thirst, my voice has become hoarse, my vision gone blurry, and my consciousness begins sinking into a hazy morass. That mansion appears before me, wrapped in a morning fog that seems to foretell rain. Does she have short hair this time around? Okay. I'll say Sora. How's it going? Just couldn't take that joke. It stopped. Yep, that's how it goes. Wow. See, Sora, you say that Ramen lost the banning privileges, then you go and hit me? How dare you? Well, I'll say, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. Oh my. The mansion comes into view like the world fading in after a dream. It doesn't appear as though anyone lives there. All the windows are either boarded up or shuttered, as if it's long since been abandoned. A tower, which seems out of place in a personal residence, stands tall beside the mansion. The whole building seems as though it could disappear with the fog. It has an unwelcoming presence, freezing me in my tracks. However, this is where you've led me, and I shall follow your guidance. Having nowhere else to go, this mansion is my only salvation, the light that guides my way. And so I must have faith that no matter what I find, whether spirits or wild beasts dwell within these walls, that this is where I will find peace. You will find spirits, you will find wild beasts, you will not find peace for anything longer than a temporary. You'll temporarily find peace, and then it'll go very, very wrong. Yeah. Is anyone there? I guess it is abandoned. That makes sense. It would be more unusual for someone to be living in a house so deep in the woods, so far from civilization, like it's been forgotten to time. I can't imagine anyone spending their days here. I wonder where this takes place this time, like, geographically. Place my hand on the front door. What if I can't get in? Very much doubt I'll find anywhere else to stay wandering around through the woods. If the door doesn't open, then I'll die out here in the forest. I've come to accept much, but I'm not ready to forfeit my life yet. Please open. The door is heavy, and though it seems to protest my attempts to enter, it still opens much easier than I was expecting. Oh my. It's here. This has been the house the whole time. Italy, Jason again. Yeah, who knows? I guess we'll see. I mean, we were in America last time, but I don't think we're in America in 1099. Something tells me probably not. I was worried over nothing. Looking in, I get the strangest impression. Light is being swallowed up into the mansion's depths. Rather than going inside, it feels as though I'm about to step outside the boundaries of this world. That's true, yeah. When I close the door, it's so dark I can't even tell where I'm walking. Well, obviously just get out your cell phone flashlight. I wonder if the window's open. But I managed to fumble my way over to a window. It's tightly shuttered, and the shutters are kicked with us. Okay, I have to tell this story because that reminded me. Holy crap. So, there are two dogs that we dog sit fairly often here. They're okay, they're not super house trained, so we kind of leave them in the kitchen overnight because it has a tile floor, so if they, do anything, it's easy to clean up as opposed to carpet or anything. So, fine. They're at least well enough trained that when we go up to them during nighttime and say, kitchen time, the two little dogs get up, go to the kitchen, easy. Apparently, Afro, in front of both Calico and I last night, without having practiced this, took a shot in the dark, walked up to the dogs and said, chicken jockey, and they got up and walked into the kitchen. Apparently it sounds close enough to dog that it worked. And I was so upset. Both that it worked, and that he thought to try it, and that it worked. Yeah, it makes perfect sense for dogs, but like... I was ill prepared. I was not ready for that. Crazy person, maybe if you kicked into a different time period with the knowledge you have now. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Hell, depending on how far of a time period, even speaking the same language wouldn't be the same language. The English of now is not the English of a few hundred years ago at all. So, like, yeah, it would be rough. It would be really rough. But even if we assume universal translation and no language differences, which is assuming a lot, yeah, just the sheer amount of, like, knowledge and anything, just, yeah, you'd be burned at the stake as a witch. Like, you just would be. 100%. Yeah, tone carries a lot of it. And the tone was the same, so, like, for sure, that tracks. But... I was still upset. I was still actually upset. But I managed to fumble my way over to a window. It's tightly shuttered, and the shutters are caked with rust. I'm probably not getting it open without a fight. If only I had some source of light. I can't even see my hand waving in front of my face. It feels like the floor will fall out from under me, and I'll sink into eternal darkness if I don't watch my step. Still a great game. Eternal Darkness? 10 out of 10. Fighting back that fear, I slowly walk forward, tracing the wall with my hand. There's a door at the end of a long corridor. I pull it open, and a wisp of bone-chilling air brushes past me. It's too dark to see anything, but I can feel something different present in this area than the rest of the house. Uneasiness grips me. Is anybody there? My voice simply disappears into the void. No response. As I'm pushing forward through the freezing air, for a split second, I spot a shimmer of light. Squinting my eyes, I'm able to make out a large window. Unlike the others, it's not shuttered, but covered by drapes. It's a stained glass window? My chances are slim, I imagine, but if there's even a slight possibility of getting some light in here, it's worth a shot. So I pull open the drapes. Yeah. The next moment, faint but colorful light shines down on me. It's a stained glass window. From beyond the glass, I can hear the subtle pitter-patter of rain. I guess it finally started. The different colors of light blend into a milky white, dim but wondrous. It's gorgeous. Why would someone cover this up? It's beautiful. With a little more light, it'd be... yeah, just casual, you know. Please do not touch the drapes. Or the windows. Suddenly I hear a voice, and I can sense someone else is in the room. The man's voice is emotionless, neither deep nor high. Before long, he comes into view, illuminated by dull orange candlelight. Oh, hello. I'm sorry for coming in uninvited, but, I did announce myself. The man stands there, practically blending in with the darkness. He's been there the whole time? He's staring straight at me. His gaze wavers slightly, but not enough for me to read anything in it. The candle in his hand and the light from the stained glass window are the only illumination in the room, neither of which are particularly bright. As a result, his outline is faint and blurred. It gives off the impression that he might vanish entirely between blinks. My apologies, I assumed the house was abandoned. I suspect you would have preferred it to be abandoned. Hey, Velveter, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. Thank you for the raid. Hey to you and all the raiders. Hope your night's going well. What were you playing? I really should have looked when I was setting stuff up, but I didn't look tonight. Kind of just set up the stuff and went live. But hope you're doing well. Let me get a shout out going. There we go. Perfect. And also, hey Peach Drink, how you doing? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. We are playing The House in Fata Morgana. It's a visual novel. It's definitely not as dark as a lot of visual novels out there, but happy things don't generally happen, so be forewarned. Happiness in this game happens only so that it can be ruined. So, you know, just that forewarning. If that ain't the vibe you're looking for, I get it. I understand. That's okay. But we're in chapter 4 of it. So far, each chapter has taken place in a different time period. It's been an interesting story. It's been a very well written, well done story. Just, you know, not one overflowing with happiness. Yeah, maybe, Ramen, maybe. Not at all. Is this, do you live in this mansion? Yes, I have for a very long time. I thought I had barred the front door, but it would seem I left it open. What brings you here? If you're lost, I'm happy to give you directions. There's a village west of here. It should take you maybe half a day on foot. If you're in need of money, help yourself to some of the furniture. Trade it for food at the village, then make your way to a larger town. I get that is, like, what other solution would you have for money at this point? But, like, I like how the option is... Well, besides the fact that it's the same line, it's only funnier the further back the timeline it goes, because, like, yeah, let me just drag this couch a half day's walk and then sell it at the town. I gotcha. Let's do it. Like, furniture of this time is not the furniture of now, where it's just like, oh, you got a little, like, light foldable plastic chair. This was stuff that was meant to be permanent and last. This is heavy stuff. You're not going to just have some lightweight thing that you're going to carry a half day's walk away to the nearest town and sell for some coin. Nope. Not even if you were, like, a strong person, let alone a already resigned herself to her fate of death by starvation and thirst and lost in the woods frail girl. Yeah, like, real solid stuff and, like, designed to be a permanent fixture. Please allow me to stay here. Could you repeat that? I cannot go to the village. No, I cannot go anywhere. I'm no longer able to freely return to any town. I'm being hunted. You seem rather young to be a sinner. So you have transgressed. I am neither a thief nor an adulterer. I bear any sin that it has been with me since birth. I will do everything I can to stay out of your way. I simply ask that you grant me shelter until it all blows over. If you wish to know of my transgression, I will tell you. So please, do not throw me out. I see. And do you ask this of me aware of how people refer to this mansion? Pardon? It is said that a witch once lived in this house. And not just any witch, a cursed witch. Ah, that's way worse. So much worse. This house has been tainted by her seething hatred, and all who dwell within it meet their demise. But you live here, don't you? Like her, I too am cursed. What kind of curse? The one thing I can tell you is that your life is in danger if you get involved with me. Should you approach my curse, I am likely to take your life. You'll kill me? Yes, so you do not belong here. To live with me in this mansion is to sentence yourself to death. No matter what path I choose, I very much doubt I have a future. And if that's the case... Yeah, of course. Also, Eric, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. How you doing? And if that's the case, then I shall live how I want. Yeah, if leaving is death and staying is death, at least staying puts a roof over your house and you're not running. I mean, not saying either option is great, but, like, you know... I don't care what people say about you or this mansion. I wish to stay here. You might think I'm rather strange, but my heart tells me... Your heart is lying to you, girl. That is a very good training mode. I still really like the dance one I got, but that is pretty powerful. So, yeah, no, some people would definitely pay for that, for sure. The being killed by Alucard. Clearly some people would also pay for the train emote, to be fair. That I must stay here. That I was guided here. And hearing what you have to say only reinforces that. What are you scheming? I'm not scheming anything. I'm simply tired of running. So if your curse is going to kill me, then perhaps that's for the best. the very least, you won't be hunting me. You won't try to flay me or tear off my arms or rip my flesh from my bones, and that's enough for me. If you have committed no sin, then why do they hunt you so fervently? I'm accused of being a witch. Yeah, that's been a repeating theme for sure. Just leaving. What even? Pack it up. Yep. Master, please wake up. Return to me. If you come to, Master, I apologize for sending you through the door without warning. I must have given you quite the scare. But I beg your forgiveness. I heard a terrible screaming from down the stairs, and I panicked. You say you saw the white-haired girl? I see, so you made it into the world beyond the door before me. I'm deeply relieved that I was able to take your hand before losing sight of you. I presume you have already grown familiar with the atmosphere of this time period, Master. Yeah, the vibes are bad for the white-haired girl, again. If you've seen her, as you said, then you should have a basic grasp of the situation. She was a very misfortunate girl in this era, accused of being a witch, abused and persecuted. Her life was in constant danger. You can hear... Now it's gone. There was a voice, just a faint voice in the background music. I couldn't quite make out what I was saying. It's definitely there, but I can't tell what it's saying. It might just be gibberish, to be fair. A lot of the lyrics so far have just been either a language I very much don't understand or very much, like, gibberish. Yeah, bare minimum not English. Which would fit very well for this time period. It was, again, her appearance that brought this upon her. That snow-white hair and those ruby-red eyes clearly differentiated her from everyone else. Oh, and I apologize. I neglected to mention that this story is unique. As for what sets it apart, that will be made clear as we proceed, though one difference is in the time period. The tales I have shown you began with that of the beautiful flaxen-haired family, followed by the tale of the bloodthirsty beast, and then the tale of steel and ambition, proceeding in chronological order. However, the door we've just entered takes us to the period now known as the Middle Ages, long, long before the other three tales. Yes, that is correct. This is where it all began. The mansion's curse, the truth of the witch, and your identity. All of this should be made known. If, after this tale, you are still unable to reclaim your old self, then there is nothing more I can do. The story contains the last tale I am able to tell you. So I ask of you, please do not let go of my hand until it is all over. Now then, let us begin a beautiful, tragic love story of two solitary souls trapped in a mansion of darkness. In that era, the mansion was a dungeon draped in darkness. I like how this is a beginning and like the oldest tale that can be told, but the mansion is already in like derelict, just abject, almost falling apart, like windows boarded up, like instantly recognizable to from the outside as nobody lives here, nobody has lived here for a long time. After a great deal of time on the run, the white-haired girl found herself at a remote mansion that stood in a dark, overgrown forest. All the windows were either boarded or shuttered, and it was even darker inside the house than out. Not even a ray of moonlight could enter those walls. Only naturally, the white-haired girl had assumed that nobody lived there. But her guess was incorrect. Someone did indeed dwell in the house. This time, I don't know. It's a good question. Were there maids in the Middle Ages? I don't have an answer for that. I mean, I feel like, maybe not by name, but I feel like the job of, like, house cleaner is borderline timeless. When was the job of maid created? It's such a... I don't know how the... okay, so the formalization of maid services says the 19th century. What is the history of maids? Sparkly Maid Miami. I don't know if... Oh, here you go. Wikipedia. There you go. Maid, housemaid, or maidservant. Maid in Middle English. Yeah. Oh, the first image on the Wikipedia page. Oh, that's 1900s. 1800s. It definitely tells like 1700s and popular culture. I don't know. I mean, I'm not reading it word for word. I'm just perusing. But it definitely seems like this might predate at least maids as we know them. Like, I'm sure there's some sort of housekeeper or something, but like, as we know them, yeah, it absolutely seems to predate that. Okay, good to know. Hadn't even considered that, but that's a good point and a good question. It was a young man named Michael. Though she could not make out the details of his face in the candlelight, she thought him a very handsome man. However, he proclaimed to her that a witch resided within the mansion, and that he too was cursed. Everyone who got close to him lost their lives. Do you think that what he told her was all nonsense? A lie devised to chase her out of the house? The truth of the matter shall come to light in time. Despite Michael's assertions, the white-haired girl decided she would take up residence within the mansion. Assertions, even. This era's white-haired girl was younger than the others. She was still in her early teens, young enough to be seen as still a child. But she was neither as self-centered nor irresponsible as you might expect of someone her age. She was very delicate and reserved, and acted with a great deal of modesty and restraint. The accusations of her being a criminal and a sinner were grossly inappropriate. Nevertheless, she was still chased from her home, barely managing to flee to this mansion with her life. Now, the white-haired girl thought it would be rude to simply take up space in the mansion, so she chased down the master, Michael, and asked, is there anything I can do to help? I'll clean or cook or do anything, just let me know. I want to repay you for allowing me to stay here. You need not feel indebted to me. The weight of that obligation will only turn into disdain. I don't know how much I trust the Google AI stuff, but like, it could be right. It could be, I mean, again, like, somebody working around a larger house to keep it clean and tidy sounds like something that has definitely existed for as long as large houses have existed. But it probably wasn't going by the name of maid or maidservant at that rate, so I could believe it, but I'm not sure. So, but I can't just stay here and do nothing. Yeah, at some point they probably just had slaves, and at some point it was probably anybody who had a house that big was probably some sort of ruler who had probably lots of wives, and they did it. So, you know, at what point did you start employing people from outside the house, the family? I don't know. It sounds like there's no definitive around this year. So, do whatever you like. As long as you do not enter my room. That is all I ask of you. So we taking bets. 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. When she enter in the room. When she enter in the room. She's gonna enter the room. It's not an if. She's entering that room. When's it gonna happen? How soon? How long? What's the over-under? Or as muddy as all. Oh, obviously, yeah. History, especially for something like that. Like, we could probably be like, oh yeah, so-and-so ruled this region at such and such time. But like, how many maidservants they had? 3 days, 3 weeks. Okay, so we have, it's going to be 3 something. For sure. It's a 3. It's just which 3? I'm going to go with 3 seconds. He said emotionlessly, turning away and walking off. Crap, I already failed. It's been 3 seconds. Well, I was close. I know. I thought it was a big brain play. Michael was not, I believe, spurning her. He was merely disinterested. He did not treat her disrespectfully, nor did he seem adverse to her presence. Words simply did not seem to affect him at all. Not only was the mansion a prison for his body was also a prison ensnaring his heart. I should still do whatever I can, but she did not let that get her down. In fact, she might have even interpreted his disinterest as kindness. Though he was a bit standoffish, he did not attempt to cause her harm. He was nothing like the people who had accused her of being a witch and forced her to flee for her life. And she was deeply grateful for that. I immediately had to throw... Yeah. Hey, I would have won the bet. I would have won the guess. Would have been 100% mine. Yeah, the house has kept a lot of the same things over time. That's definitely one of them. Thus began their quiet life together. I feel like that is also a line that has been repeated, maybe not quiet, but I feel like something with that sentiment has been in quite a few of the chapters. Michael, who avoided contact with others, and the white-haired girl who had taken a great deal of abuse from others. Yeah, it makes sense. Other than things that are actively changed by the people in the house, it seems to start with a fairly general slate. Like not a blank slate, but like a template. Like obviously, billiard tables were added into the last chapter. I bet you those are... maybe they are, maybe they aren't there now, but still. Yeah. Needs to update. If you're a spooky old cursed mansion, why update yourself? You're already living your best spooky old cursed mansion life. That's true, yeah. The two people who knew hardly anything about one another, who were too distant to really be said to be living together. Michael spent most of his day in his chambers, so they only ever saw each other occasionally, and they hardly ever spoke. Though they stayed in the same house, they both still lived solitary lives. Nonetheless, the white-haired girl wanted to get to know Michael better. She wanted to know why he called himself cursed. Why he lived alone in this dark mansion. How many days, how many years had he spent there in solitude? And while she waited for the opportunity, she also started doing things around the house. Michael plays League. Have you guys seen the... It was in AMV Health 3 or 4, I think. Somebody set a few clips from Death Note to the Dota song, and there's just a scene where like somebody knocks on the door and like they open it up and you see the flashing lights and like the dull music behind it of just like all of them playing Dota on the monitors. And I imagine it's that when you open the door to his room. The first project she set out to take care of was cleaning. League addiction is rough. Yeah. Oh man, I was literally just having a conversation with Afro the other night about how he's kind of quit playing Marvel Rivals, even though he really was enjoying the game. And it's really the same exact issue that me and most people have with the League. It's just the core game is fun. I enjoyed playing Marvel Rivals when I played it. But as soon as a game like that gets enough of a following and enough people, and especially if it's free to play and there's really no punishment for being an ass, you can have a roster of 50 characters, but there's like 5 to 10 you're allowed to play. Otherwise, people are just gonna be like, "Oh, you're just throwing the game. You're awful. You're the worst. Can't believe you do this." And it's just no fun to play when the only thing you're allowed to do is the meta. Like, Afro was telling me about a YouTuber he watched who was really good at Widowmaker in not Black Widow, not Widowmaker. Sorry, wrong. First-person hero shooter. Black Widow in Marvel Rivals, who was considered very, like, mid to low tier, but he was really good at her. He was really good, and, like, the teams he was on would win. And even then, the entire time, they'd be like, "You gotta switch, you can't play her, that she's not good, what are you doing? I can't believe you do this to us," as he was winning them the game. And the second she got a slight buff and became a meta character, everyone's like, "Yeah, good job." Like, this stuff like that, just, I couldn't. Like, what's the point of having a giant roster if you're only allowed to play a tenth of it? Because you can only play the meta characters. Not that I'm ever going to be playing ranked in any of those things or anything like that. So, like, I would get less of it than your average person, but that just sucks. It's meta or nothing if you're going to play ranked. Even if, in a well-balanced game, not to say Marvel Rivals or League is well or not well-balanced, I don't play enough of it to know, but in a well enough balanced game, even a lower tier character is still really good. Like, Smash Ultimate was a decent example of, like, most characters were kinda still in the same ballpark. If you ignore the crits from Hero, a fairly balanced game. And, like, those happen where, like, the difference between top tier and bottom tier is really not that far, but people just see a tier list and go, that's it, that's it. No, nothing else we could do. Sorry, if you're playing anything that's not top tier, you're bad. But it is specifically team games, yes. They get so toxic. If it's a 1v1 or something, I mean, nobody's going to trash you for playing a garbage character. They'll trash you if you beat them with a garbage character while they play the meta character, but, like, that's how fighting games go. It's so unfortunate, because, like, back in the day, I liked the core gameplay of League, and League's roster is strong, which is why I'm glad they're doing other things, like, Grand Blue is doing other things with their roster. League is doing a fighting game. They've done other... I think they did, like, a turn-based JRPG, too. Like, they're doing other stuff with... And they did the anime. They're taking those well-made characters and putting them in other things, because you sure as hell can't appreciate those characters in League. Yeah, I moved into fighting games, but that wasn't really accurate, because it's hard to be... It's not hard to be super toxic in fighting games, but it's a different type of toxicity when it's a versus game as opposed to a team versus game. Toxicity from your opponent's kind of expected. Toxicity from your teammates is just the worst. And usually is way more, like, dark and designed to inflict, like, harm. Somebody whining over losing a game is way different from somebody who's legitimately mad because they think you made them lose their game on their team. It's, ugh. The first project she set out to take care of was cleaning. As the windows were all firmly shut, her only source of light was candles. Correct. Yeah, most people are only there to just get their daily stuff in. And you know what? Good. Because let's be honest, PvP in 14 isn't great, and that's okay. As long as everybody understands we're all just kind of here to zerg a point for 15 minutes and just get our free EXP, cool. Every now and again you get that one person on one team that's like, I think I can make this work, and I'm going to take up the mantle of leader and try to point everyone in the right way. Then I get really upset when nobody listens and we lose anyway. But even then, not often. Neck right in front line though. Yeah, PvP will always bring out the most toxicity out of people. Which sucks. Hey, I wish I could say that was the reason I'm not big into PvP, because it's really not. That doesn't really... it was just never my thing, generally speaking. That doesn't help, but that's not, like, the reason. For whatever reason, there was a great deal of candles stored in the cellar. She wondered where on earth he had acquired so many, but she never found the opportunity to ask him. It was difficult to even see all the dust and cobwebs with only candlelight, and considering the poor airflow through the house, she was afraid her efforts were going to be in vain. Oh, yeah, like... Besides the fact that light blowgun is fine as a weapon, I mean, let's be honest, all weapons are fine as a weapon, but, like, yeah. It sucks that that happened, but, like, good. Clearly not a lobby you'd want to be in after that. But yeah, like, I have played a lot of MMOs that feature PvP, and I've never really enjoyed the PvP. DC Universe Online. Okay. Like, I played WoW for a decade, and WoW really wants you to play PvP, and, like, I did occasionally sometimes, like, with friends or whatever. I never really liked it. I played Guild Wars and Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2 is super PvP focused. If you go into the PvP stuff, like it's got a large amount of PvP. I didn't really. I tried it, didn't really like it. It's just not my stuff. It's not for me. I see the appeal. I see the rewards. I see people do crazy stuff. MMO PvP ain't for me. I'll do Frontlines for EXP. I did Crystalline Conflict for EXP and for those armor mount rewards, but I wasn't sitting there like, yeah, let me get good at this. Let me master this class. Like, no, I just picked whatever I was playing. I was like, this will work. I mean, Ore in the Shoes is PvP, but like it is such a different PvP. It's Mario Party PvP. And Mahjong is a board. Like, both of those are functionally board games, which, yes, unless you're playing something like Sentinels of the Multiverse, are technically PvP, but it's such a different brand of PvP than, like, a fighting game, a MOBA, or an MMO. It's so different. Friends talking trash. Yeah, very much so. I mean, yeah, every game of Monopoly ends with somebody flipping the table in anger, but it's still like, you know, it's still different than somebody getting toxic in League. Still, she persisted, sweeping and wiping things down one room at a time. Eventually, she made her way to the library. The dust that had settled there was much heavier than in any other room. With each breath, she had to fight back coughs. It was not a room one would normally be comfortable spending much time in, but the sight of so many bulky volumes lining the shelves sent her heart aflutter with delight. There, books. Incredible, real books. The white-haired girl had never seen a book before. She had heard people describe them, but that was the first time she had ever seen one for herself. Parchment was a very valuable commodity in that era. It was something monks or scholarly priests made use of, and not a material one could easily acquire without some degree of social rank. Books were not printed with machines, but copied by hand. A single volume took an incredible amount of work to create. Even the process of binding was an art. Standing before a shelf, she stared intently at the spines. It's so much dust. Does he not read any of them? Just a peek, just a tiny little peek, she said, making excuses to the empty room as she reached her hand toward one of the books. The tome that caught her eye was on the upper shelf. It bore gorgeous jade embossing and looked like it belonged in a treasure chest. Almost. Though she tended to act older than her age, the white-haired girl was still in her early teens and not especially tall. Even standing tiptoe was just barely within reach. Shame there's no ladder about. Shame. What I'm saying? Well, I mean, yeah. Some nuggets of Reddit are really good for sure. Kid blew it up? What? People tend to forget that Reddit has some deep, dark pits in it. I'd argue it's most of it. What? Yeah, Grim, I finished Metaphor, so that lets me start a new game, right? Totally, 100%. That's perfectly normal. Also, Grim, how's it going? Thank you for 90 months.
Backlog of finishing up.
Yeah, and you know, we'll be finishing this one at some point. The backlog will slowly get chipped away at. Not nearly as quick as we're adding new things to the backlog, but you know, it's a process. No, we were talking trash about League, but it's fine. Yeah, you don't want stuff like that happening close to you either. Like that's messed up. Okay, we read that one. At long last, her slender fingers made contact with the spine, and she began to pull the book toward her. Ah, the library had sat abandoned for some time. Also, holy crap, what was that, 90 months? Sorry, I got distracted by just other stuff, but 90 heckin' months, thank you, Grim. It's huge. Entirely too many numbers, entirely too big of a number. but entirely appreciated. Hope your weekend's going well. It's Sunday already. How is it Sunday night already? I don't want it to be Sunday night already. Though tomorrow will probably be an easy day of work. So, not easy, but a straightforward day of work. So it'll be fine. But, oops. What was there it is. The library had sat abandoned for some time, causing the covers to stick together. So when she attempted to pull one out, several others tilted with it. Oh, it's your convention next weekend. Hell yeah. Ooh, that's going to be good. Yeah, Anime North. Oh, damn. Welcome back, Potts. How you doing? Glad you're back home. Glad it was a safe trip, if a short one. And yeah, the Anime North will be a good time. I've never been to that specific anime convention, but anime cons are a good time. I'm excited for Kineticon. So I'm excited for Final Fantasy TCG first, because it's just sooner. But then it'll be all focus on Kineticon. Got past the click. Ah, yes, of course. Yeah, hope things are going well for you, Potts. Welcome back. What? I was welcoming Potts. It wasn't a click. No. The discussion before of games was a click, sure. Yeah, I'll give you that, but... See the Hildebrand... Oh, I hope so. Yeah. I hope so. Well, now we're just talking about Anime North, because Grimm's going to be going to Anime North. We were talking about toxic PvP chat, but that's kind of done. Just saying whatever, man. I would never. Not me. So, I read that one. And then... almost all the books on the shelf came avalanching down onto her. Ow. White-haired girl groaned, buried under a mountain of parchment. She hoped she had not damaged any of her host's valuable collection, for the mess was enough of a setback already in her attempt to express her gratitude. Looking around, she saw one volume that was almost torn in half. She did not know whether it was in that condition before, or if it had happened in the fall. Plays League, but hates the anime. One of the characters in this period plays League. Clearly, yeah, huh? But nonetheless, she felt horribly guilty. Sitting there, unable to get back to her feet, tears began welling in her eyes. And suddenly a shadow fell over the dejected girl. It took a book in its hand and returned it to the shelf. For a brief moment, the shadow's hand reached hesitantly towards the white-haired girl, then changed course towards another book. It was Michael. There was a hint of perplexity in his otherwise emotionless eyes. Perhaps he had heard the noise and come to see what had caused it. I'm so sorry, your books, What were you doing? I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to make a mess. I didn't mean to damage such precious books. There's no need to panic. I'm so sorry. Make it sound as though I'm admonishing you. What? Do you want to read a book? I do, but that's not what I originally came here to clean. Clean? Yes, I feel guilty simply being idle. Oh, am I saying the name wrong? No.
Michelle.
Okay. Okay. Sure. I just assumed it was a different spelling of Michael. Honestly. Hold on. Yeah, but we're also in 1099, Potts. It's French. Michelle looks like, okay. It's of Hebrew origin, meaning who is like God. Just for the record. But yeah, it Michelle. Yeah. As soon as I looked it up, that was the first thing. It's like, okay. Cool. Gotcha. So I was definitely saying it wrong, but we got it now. Yes, I felt guilty simply being idle. Did say you could do as you pleased, but you have no responsibility to clean anything. This ended up making a bigger mess anyway. You needn't apologize. Okay. If you want to read, help yourself to any of the books. But I don't know how to read. I just thought the cover was pretty, so I wanted to hold it. You're free to use them however you wish. If looking at them is enough for you, by all means. These are all your books, aren't they? They are. It's incredible. You have so many. It must have taken you a long time to acquire them all. 1 per month. What? My family sends me 1 every month. Every month? White-haired girl turned her gaze back towards the shelves, squinting her eyes and beginning to count. When she finished, she was in awe. There were in excess of 100 books on the shelves, which meant he had lived here in solitude for many years. She found a light novel. Yeah, of course. No, they seemed pretty heavy, honestly. Yeah, it's so... Clearly, this mansion is just been... This is, in fact, the oldest house. She was at a loss for words. Their dull tomes. Hey, you want pizza? It's history's first subscription. I don't know. History's first subscription, it's history's first made. There's a lot of firsts going on right now. Light novel series. Ah, yes, of course. Oldest house contains the oldest pizza. Does it? Are we sure? I mean, a book per month is insane in this time, though. Like, they were just covering the fact that, like, there's no printing press. These were all hand-copied, hand-bound tomes of parchment. A book a month is insane. They're dull tomes, dreadfully inoffensive, and not even interesting enough to waste a few hours with. Decoration is all they're good for. I see. If you can put them to some use, then perhaps my having them won't be entirely meaningless anymore. I'm going to return to my room. Don't feel obligated to clean up. Just a minute. Is there something else? Could you tell me your name? Just realized I never asked for your name. Oh, so we know. She doesn't. TheOldAudible.com. Not knowing what to call you will make conversation awkward. I want to, though. Michelle. Michelle, like the Archangel. The name suits you quite well. It suits me? It does, although it's difficult to see you in the dark. You seem to be a very handsome man, befitting of your name. I beg to differ. Giving me his name is the highest form of mockery. I expect the real Archangel is probably rather annoyed by it. I don't know. I think it's a wonderful name. And you're... No, never mind. Oh, my name? My name is Giselle. That's the first time we've been allowed to hear her name. Okay. Yeah, SMT would definitely have that effect. Okay. Yeah, not... Please call me Giselle. Oh, thank goodness. For what? That I was able to get your name and talk to you for a little bit. Did we? She was Did we know it was the white-haired girl at that point? We know it was somebody who was talking to him, but did we know that's who it was at that point? I guess we could have assumed if it wasn't the maid and it was somebody in this house, the likelihood of it being her is high, but we didn't know for sure at that point. And talk to you for a little bit. We haven't seen much of each other since I first arrived, so I'm glad that I got to hear your voice. Yeah, so very glad. You gain nothing by speaking to me. You have no responsibility to do so, and there is no need for you to feel joy about it. I am not pleased out of some sense of responsibility or necessity. It's just depressing not being able to have a conversation with someone living in the same house. You do not understand me at all. You know how somebody could understand you better? By communicating about yourself with another person. Just saying. That could work, maybe. As I said on that first day, my curse will one day kill you. But I'm still alive, aren't I? You're welcome to believe I am lying, or that I am merely out of my mind. But it will be too late when you realize the truth. I'll be fine, I'm sure. And even if I do die because of your curse, I promise I won't hold a grudge. Yep. Could you possibly be keeping away from me out of concern? Excuse me. No, I simply have no interest in interacting with anyone. I would like to interact with you, if you don't mind, that is. As I told you, you have nothing to gain from that. I have nothing, not even words to give you. My body is but a shell, even if I were not cursed. My presence would do naught but cause you discomfort. I don't think that's true. I don't believe that there's anyone in this world with absolutely nothing. There's plenty inside of you. You simply haven't noticed it yet. And not all of it will only cause others pain either. If you truly believe those words, then you are a foolhardy girl. How can you trust someone you only just met? For that matter, how do you not resent everyone? Resent them? I can take a guess as to why people call you a witch, and why you had to flee all the way to this mansion. Your white hair and red eyes, that abnormal, seemingly inhuman appearance drew their condemnation. I can think of any number of reasons that they might have started treating you less than human. Perhaps people around you experienced misfortune, or perhaps there was a natural disaster, a famine, a plague, some kind of external phenomenon. White-haired girl. Yeah, I mean, we've known her by that name for longer. And you were their scapegoat. Yes, you are by and large correct. Then that would make me as unworthy of your trust as anyone else. I make no claim to having your interests in mind. Goodbye. If you don't mind, could you teach me how to read sometime? Did you listen to anything I said? No. I listened, yes. I have no intention of idolizing you. I don't expect you to do anything for me, and I don't wish to burden you in any way. I simply wish to be allowed to be at your side. It does not matter to me what kind of person you may be. That is all I want. I apologize for keeping you. Please consider it if it's not too much trouble. As the master of the house, Mikhail, made his way out of the library, he appeared to be slightly rattled. Perhaps the white-haired girl's determination had ignited something in his chained heart, or perhaps it was something else. She started towards the darkness into which Mikhail had disappeared. Then she carefully wrapped her arms around the jade-embossed tome, a soft smile spreading across her lips. He's a decent man, I'm sure of it. We're alike, he and I. And thus began to blossom within her a faint sense of fellowship, as someone who also knew solitude. Yeah, we can fix each other. He doesn't want to be fixed or to fix. It's been about a week since the white-haired girl had taken up residence in the mansion. Okay, so it's been longer than 3 days. Staying in that house deprived of light was, I imagine, a very claustrophobic experience. To anyone blessed enough to have sunlight as part of their everyday lives, it would have been unbearable. But for her, the mansion, with its prison walls and lack of either illumination or recreation, was the one place she could find respite. She and Mikhail continued to be distant, however. He spent most of his time in his chambers, which he had explicitly told the white-haired girl to stay out of, leaving her unable to close that gap. Do something this chapter? I'm gonna say so. I always go through with my gut feelings first time through a visual novel. If there's multiple endings, we'll definitely be finding those, don't worry. But for my first time through, I always go gut feelings. I appreciate you asking, though. Very much appreciate it. Also, hello, and welcome to Viperland in the chat. Hope you're having a good weekend. How you doing? Unravels. Yeah, this is... nothing in this game is ever unraveled, Potts. Leaving unable to close that gap. Okay, that's what it was. Nonetheless, on the occasion they did cross paths in the hallway, their eyes would meet, if but briefly. Been enjoying the VODs. Oh, okay. I've noticed the VODs have been getting some views, so heck yeah. Glad you're enjoying. I literally joking about noticing the VODs had gotten some views earlier. I made a really bad pun at the start of this stream, and I was like, I'm going to be able to watch the views just plummet right there. It's never for more than a few seconds. Whenever she saw him, she made a point of giving him a little smile. He never said anything, but still, when she had first arrived, he would not have even met her gaze. He seemed to be taking more and more notice of her. Everybody's favorite happy time basement, the cellar where nothing bad has happened. One day, the white-haired girl stood in the cellar, a frown on her face. Well, this is troubling. I can't go down to the village, but if we don't do something soon... The cellar was where their food was stored, an assortment of non-perishables and dried foods, smoked meats and cheese. It gets mixed every time. Yeah, every time. It's happened more than once, for sure. But it always... I always just, it's like, to me, I put stuff up on YouTube more just as a storage than anything, because Twitch is only going to delete all the things now. But, you know, it's always great when somebody finds something there. And I honestly think the visual novels tend to get views there. Like, I know when I was going through SciTV stuff, that was getting views. I noticed this one was too. So, like, cool. I'm glad people are enjoying. The fact that there's anyone out there enjoying any amount of visual novel goodness, phenomenal. Like, whether they get it from watching me or, like, just heard about it and playing it, like, more visual novel stuff. Good. Phenomenal. Yeah, that was... Yeah, true. That's fair, too. Your daily meals were taken from the supplies there. However, the stockpile was beginning to grow quite small. Were she not on the run, she could have gone to the village to procure more. Or perhaps, were she a little tougher, she could have captured a wild animal for its meat. I don't know why, but my instinct there of, like, her, like, capturing a wild animal for its meat was just the mental image of, like, a giant boar charging her and her just bracing to, like, grapple it. That was my immediate, just like, yes, the teenaged, still considered a child, white-haired girl, frail of body, just wrestling like Sagi for some reason. I don't know why. I could not tell you why that was the first thought, but But master, you know, a young delicate thing like her was hardly up to the task of hunting for food. How does he normally get his supplies, I wonder? From there, other questions about Mikhail started raising in her mind. No matter how lifeless he seemed, surely he still had to eat, right? The white-haired girl nodded, then made her way out of the cellar, intending to head for his bedchamber. Well, it sounds like it's more than 3 days, less than 3 weeks. But on her way there, she spotted him standing by the entrance. Oh, okay. Staring motionless at the door, lit by a single candle. He appeared to be waiting for something. May I ask you a question? Go on. I was just down in the cellar, and I noticed we were running low on food. Do you normally go down to the village to restock? I haven't been outside in 10 years. Then how do you... What if I told you I don't eat? What? That I am not of this world, and as such I have no need for sustenance. What would you think of that? League needs for another breed. It's a wild boar with a shining wizard, eats for days. Yeah, eats good too. That sounds very economical. I know his image hasn't changed, but that is the exact look I imagine he'd give after that exchange. Like, I get it. This has just been his sprite the whole time, but like, in this moment, it's perfection. You can survive without having to eat. That's one less thing to worry about. If it were possible, I'd like to have that ability too. It would seem trying to frighten you is a waste of time. Was I supposed to be afraid? Never mind. It doesn't matter. You asked about the food in the cellar. It's getting to be about that time. Wait and you will find out. What do you... It's here. Oh? Want to know where my supplies come from? Open the door. But, I'm in hiding. There's no one at the door anymore. The knock is nothing more than a signal. A signal? Yeah, the Uber Eats is here. Haven't you heard? The white-haired girl turned towards Mikhail to press him for more information, but he averted his gaze. Find the answer yourself, he seemed to be saying. She took several moments to gather her will, then marched over to the door. So bright. The sunlight, which she had not seen in some time, so bright it seemed to burn her eyes. I wonder if this is the origin of her sensitivity to light. Because she mentioned that she was considered a witch for her hair color and eye color. And every other time it had also been she can't handle the light very well. That wasn't the case this time. So maybe this is where that originates? Although the sun itself had not gotten any brighter, she had simply spent so much time in the dark, her eyes were no longer accustomed to that much light. The color of her eyes made them quite sensitive to light already. Oh, okay. So when she stepped outside, her whole world went bone white. The white-haired girl stood motionless for 10, perhaps 15 minutes. Definitely seconds, but you know. When her eyes had finally adjusted to the light, I just like the idea of her just being flashbang so hard, it's like 15 minutes later, she's like, alright, I can see again. What's this? She noticed a crate on the ground at her feet. She turned her head back to ask Mikhail about the box, but the mansion was so dark it appeared to be wholly severed from the outside world. From where she stood, she was unable to distinguish Mikhail from the shadows. A pang of nervousness struck her. She wanted to return to that darkness as quickly as possible. Super long debuff timers, yeah. It was a weird patch, you know, and I'm glad it didn't stick around too long, but you know. The white-haired girl had come to yearn for that world without light more than the one with. The crate was fairly hefty. The slightly built girl had considerable difficulty bringing it into the house. But eventually, she did manage to drag it through the front door. And then, everything went dark once more, except for the faint flicker of candlelight floating in the air. It's going to take her like 6 hours for our eyes to readjust to that. You can leave it there. I'll take care of the rest. What's... Without a word, Mikhail approached her in the box, withdrawing a knife that he had evidently kept hidden somewhere in his person. With it, he cut through the rope that bound the box. Go on, open it up. At his insistence, she placed her hand upon the lid. She had no idea what lay inside this unexpected delivery. Whoever had brought it was already long gone. Staring at the strange box, she was racked with nervousness. However, what she found when she pushed aside the lid was completely ordinary food. Huh. Something amusing. It was just rather anticlimactic. Here I was worried about what might be inside. We were just talking about the supplies in the cellar. So we were. Completely slipped my mind. This should last us for some time. It's all preserved, just like what's in the cellar. But I don't understand. Who would deliver all of this to you? Should be a book in there as well. What? Oh, there it is. In the library, he said, that his family sends him 1 book a month. Does that mean this box came from them? If so, then why did the person who delivered this leave without speaking to him? What happened between him and his family? Is he here because they want him here? Or because he chose to be here? Take the book to the library, please. I will bring the rest of the supplies to the cellar. It's a big box. I'm sure you could use some help carrying it. It won't be necessary. Take the book and go. But, fine, then stay here. I'll take care of everything. Wait, hold on, please. She's explicitly like, I want to know something I can do to help. Please, let me know something I can do to help. He's like, you can bring the book to the library. No, not that. I get it. She wants to help with the crate. He doesn't look strong. Like, I get it. It's just funny. What is it? You don't have to answer this if you don't want to. And, I'm not trying to pry, but can't help but be curious. Say what you have to say, please. I was wondering if you could tell me why you live here in this mansion. Why did whoever delivered this box leave before you even opened the door? Could you perhaps be imprisoned here? I told you this the very first day. I am cursed. It's only natural for a cursed man to live in a cursed home. Yes, but that's such a vague answer. I don't understand why you're in this situation you are. I don't know how you feel about it. There's so much I don't know. And I'm not even sure if your curse actually exists. I see. That is a perfectly reasonable doubt from your point of view. Having been branded a witch because of your appearance, it would make sense that you would think my curse might be fabricated, or perhaps a metaphor for something else. Alright then, come with me. What? I'll show you my curse. As he turns on his heels, the white-haired girl caught a glimpse of what appeared to be a smirk on his face, like the whole thing was some kind of sick joke. He goes in, he does a full-on, like, Yakuza reveal of a back tattoo, and it's just the dopest tattoo you've ever seen. His curse is being too sick for this world to handle. That smile carved into his mask was far colder than any look of annoyance or rejection. But despite the twinge of nervousness, she followed after Mikhail. As much as he might have stood out in a crowd with such height and long hair, is there some you got a beef with guys who have long hair and are tall? You got some problem with that? You got some sort of problem with long-haired tall guys? Huh? You saying I stick out of the crowd? You say what? Saying I'm cursed? Hold on, gotta put the controller down. Ah! Didn't drop anything. Fisticuffs. I did drop something. Thankfully, not my controller, just my little squeezy. I'm not cursed. I don't think I'm cursed. His presence was almost entirely eroded away by the darkness. She felt that he could simply fade away into nothingness at any moment. Many things are buried here. Huh? Mice, insects, wild cats, and dogs. Excuse me. Have you ever thought it strange how little life there seemed to be around this mansion? Are you implying that she ever left the mansion? Like, how would she notice? You're right. I haven't seen a single creature since I arrived. The only sound you can hear is the wind blowing. Yeah, it is shocking that that place doesn't have mice. Like, that thing should be roughly 50% mouse by volume. Now that you mention it, it did seem peculiar. They were all killed by me. Or rather, they lost their lives because of me. You have your answer now. A butterfly fluttered its way into the ruined garden, dancing up and down through the air. Mikhail held out a finger before himself, and the butterfly, mistaking it for a branch, drifted down upon it to rest its wings. Had the scene stopped there, it would have been a picturesque moment. All that comes in contact with me loses its life. My skin, the breath I exhale, my flesh and blood, is poison to all life. But the butterfly's movements began to slow, spread its wings in one last futile attempt to fight gravity, and then without warning, it shriveled up into a dry husk. Damn. It's dead, all dried up and lifeless. Like it's been dead for days. It's like his finger drained all the life out of it. Is this his curse? Is that even possible? But I saw it with my own eyes. This is his curse, though. It explains much. There are more than just insects and animal corpses buried here, too. Servants who came to visit me long ago are here beneath the ground, under our very feet. Rogue. Yeah. Or Rouge. Rogue. Rogue. That. Like, inverse Midas? I guess? Death Aura would do that. Yeah, yeah, Death Aura, slightly. Midas, yeah. Does he absorb the life? A good question. Like, is it some sort of exchange, or is he just... Yeah, is it just a withering touch? I don't know. The way he makes it sound is withering touch, but, like, we definitely don't know. That's why the servant leaves before I open the door. Should he touch me, should he get near me, his very life is in danger. No one is interested enough in seeing me to take that risk. No one will have anything to do with me. Nary a soul even wishes to see my face. Now you understand what I meant when I said I would eventually kill you. So that's why you have never once touched me. When I knocked the books down of the library, you didn't offer your hand to help me up, and only one of us ever made contact with the box at the entrance at a time. When I offered to help you carry it, you refused, because you didn't want your finger to accidentally brush against mine. My actions were not out of concern for you. I simply dislike people. Complete, okay. Others' interests mean nothing to me. What an odd face you're making. Do you not believe my curse is real? No, I do. It is certainly irrational, inexplicable, unbelievable, but you've shown me more than enough evidence, and I don't believe you're lying to me right now either. In which case you now understand how dangerous it is to be near me. You said that if you left you would be killed. It's been some time since then. If you're careful to cover your tracks, you could make your escape. You do not belong here. He was telling the truth about being cursed. What a cruel burden to have to bear. Can't imagine just how much he's given up on. How many lives he's inadvertently taken. And how he must have felt every time it happened. How much pain that loneliness must have given him. How much despair he must carry in his heart. Touches people after. Well, what if it's an entire, like, town? And not for nothing, it doesn't seem to be an instantaneous thing. I mean, a butterfly is a small, frail thing to begin with. Imagine a human isn't a you are already dead scenario. But also, who the hell knows? Maybe it is. Maybe it is just that quick. How much sorrow must be weighing down on him? True. So, no. I will not leave. I'll stay here with you. Leave this place. No, I will not. Why? Why do you insist upon remaining in this house after learning what I can do? You have no reason to stay. Tell me then, why do you try to drive me out? You don't care for others, as you say. You're not concerned about anyone else. Then what does it matter what I do? What does it matter if I die to your curse? You're a very kind-hearted man. You've been watching out for me since the day I arrived, doing whatever you can to not inadvertently kill me, to not afflict me with your curse. No. Here's what I think. No one capable of showing genuine care for others can honestly, truly dislike all people. They can't possibly be indifferent. No, That day we met before the stained glass window, you heard me out. You listened to my plight. You didn't try to chase me out. That day, I thought you to be a good man, and I still believe that. I simply assumed you would leave on your own when it was safe. I never thought you would be so foolish as to want to stay in a house like this with a man like me. Why does that make me foolish? Do you not value your life? Are you not afraid of death? Do you not find me unpleasant? The thing I fear most is loneliness. You're probably right that by now I could safely sneak away, get myself somewhere far from here. But even if I did, I would inevitably find myself in the same situation. The only way I can avoid that fate is to stay away from everyone. to live in solitude with no one to talk to. I know you understand how that feels. It terrifies me. I'm afraid of having to spend day after day with no one to talk to, no one to share my experiences, my thoughts, my feelings with. If that's what awaits me out there, then I want to live with you. I want you to be an essential part of my life. Impossible. Please, don't chase me out. You are a cruel girl. Never again will I allow myself to get close to someone, only to watch them die. Never again. My mother was the first to die. It happened shortly after my birth. Next was my wet nurse. 2 deaths could be considered a coincidence. But as the number rose, it became clear that I was cursed. And I was forbidden from making contact with anyone, even at home. Regardless, being in the same house, accidents will happen. Numerous people lost their lives. Attendants unfamiliar with me, or those who simply brushed up against me by mistake. Maybe it is a touch of death then. Oh. I couldn't take it any longer. So you chose to move here, to this remote mansion, to keep yourself away from your family. You weren't imprisoned here, you elected to live alone so you wouldn't hurt anyone. For better or for worse, I was born into a noble house. So rather than abandon me, they provided me with the means to live out of sight. I will be very careful. I will do everything I can to ensure no accidents occur, to keep you from being alone again. I will not for any reason touch you. You have my promise. Your curse takes the life of anything you touch. I've been here for a while and death has not befallen me yet. As long as I do not touch you, there shouldn't be a problem. Also, and I apologize if this is simply me reading too much into things, but I feel like we're two of a kind. I fear being utterly alone more than anything, and I think you understand just how scary that is. So, why are you so stubbornly insistent on being me? I'm sure there's someone else out there. Or on it being me. Someone you're meant to be with. You may not have found them yet, but I believe someone like you eventually will. Because unlike me, you still have the vigor to press forward. It has to be you, I'm certain of it. Why? Because, well, you can't tell me? No, I can, just please don't get upset with me. I think I might really, really love you. Yeah, it definitely sounds like really bad. Definitely makes sense his mom would be the first one, followed by a wet nurse. Those check out. His was a power that evoked images of witches or demons, the unclean and the impure. A mere touch was all it took for him to strip man and beast alike of its life. God has quite a cruel streak to bestow such a power upon such a beautiful young man. There is one small, oh, is it? Jeez. Man, that stinks. Not that I've read a lot of manga, but that was definitely where I read it from. Mikhail touched manga decks too. The only upside to that power, I mean, there's so many downsides, but the one upside is mosquitoes. Damn them mosquitoes. At least they die. And a strange power it was indeed, like something out of a fairy tale. Like something confined to words upon the page. It seemed otherworldly, unbelievable. Nonetheless, as he had demonstrated to the white-haired girl, his peculiar powers were indeed real. That said, the world has its fair share of oddities. It just so happens that those curiosities tend to remain hidden away, known only to a few. Although you have laid eyes upon a number of unusual phenomena yourself, Master. The doors to the past through which we have passed, this very mansion, and as a matter of fact, the two of us. Now, as you just saw, the white-haired girl found herself enraptured with this man and his accursed power. How do you think Mikhail acted in response to her proclamation? He had spent so long refusing to interact with others, no, unable to interact with them. As such, he was unsure how to respond. After standing there expressionless for a few moments, he muttered, "I'll consider it." And with that, he returned to his chambers. While he was not someone who wore his heart on his sleeve, I personally do not believe he was completely devoid of emotions. He had simply forgotten how to express them in the extended solitude. So I think he was, in that moment, in a state of complete panic. She had, after all, just assaulted him with a stream of incomprehensible declarations that, knowing the truth, she still wished to remain in the mansion, and that, knowing the truth, she loved him. Excuse me. This text for Kudere. It's true, all bug bites, but most bug bites, it's mosquitoes. Damned mosquitoes. I guess it doesn't change anything with most bee species, though. They already die when they sting something, so I guess it doesn't change much. The love she declared for Mikhail was not a fleeting puppy love. There was a genuine tenderness and warmth to her words. But he had gone through his life shunned, feared, pushed away. To him, that was normal. He had never given anyone reason to have any fondness for him. So he found himself utterly unsure how to take the affection she was showing. Of course, he was not the only one rattled by the whole affair. Oh dear. Several days had passed since Mikhail had asked for time to think. He had still yet to show himself again. This is all my fault. The white-haired girl paced anxiously through the halls on the off chance she might run into him. As per his request, though, she kept her distance from his chambers. Nevertheless, she was beginning to worry about the fact that he had secluded himself away for so long. So she worked up her courage and made her way to his room. What if he doesn't want to see me ever again? He just wants to read. Yeah. Yeah, I guess if he wore thick enough stuff, in theory, but also, I doubt he'd want to risk that. And it's a hard thing to test. You don't have butterflies just coming down to land on you daily. So I don't know. Didn't consider I might be overstepping my bounds. You didn't consider that? You didn't consider that? You didn't even slightly consider that you might have been overstepping your bounds. Really? Yeah, but he actively doesn't want to kill people, so... Yeah, that's true. It does make it sound like clothes don't stop it. Maybe he just walked around everywhere shirtless, and so did everyone else in his house. Maybe he came from a house of nudists. Before opening my mouth, every step she took was slow and laborious. Her mind raced with worry and doubt. I should at least tell him I'm sorry. Rather than out of a desire to know how he felt, she was compelled by guilt and a desire to apologize. A house of frat bros. After walking for some time, she arrived at a door sitting in an utterly unlit hallway. She drew in a breath of musty air, then let it out, repeating the process several times. Next, she reached her hand up to knock on the door, then pulled it back, also doing this a number of times. Oh, how adorable she was. I wanted nothing more than to give her a little nudge. After all, she was too sweet a girl for her worries to be anything but misplaced. Yes, he's an Armstrong, but his aura is so powerful it just kills things that touch him. He takes off his robe and he's just shredded. He is so buff that anything that makes physical contact with him dies knowing he can never achieve that level of, like, muscled perfection. It all makes perfect sense. Just can't find the courage. Maybe I should come back another day. But what's the point of waiting? I need to apologize and get the weight off his back now. She gathered her courage one more time, this time determined she would do it. The white-haired girl moved her small fist towards the door, which then swung open. I'm sorry. Please, you must announce your presence. I almost walked right into you. Are you in that much of a hurry for a mishap? I'm sorry. And I believe I told you to stay away from my chambers. You did, so I spent a long time debating whether I would, but I decided I really wanted to tell you this. Oh, well, actually, I'm truly sorry. What? The other day I could barely manage to get the words in my head all the way to my mouth. There was no room in my mind for anything else. I shoved my own thoughts and feelings into your face, not considering that might not be what you wanted, just running non-stop, not thinking at all. It's terribly disrespectful to you, completely selfish. You're a kind-hearted man. I truly believe that. But you were only being courteous because you're a nice man. I'm sure you have little interest in the affections of a queer little girl. So, I would love it if I could stay here. It would be a wonderful blessing. But if you really don't want me here, if my feelings are imposing upon you, then I apologize. I'm sorry, and I'll take my leave of this house. Sorry. Don't be. My mind went blank for a moment. What? I find it difficult to comprehend you. The other day you were firm in your intentions to stay, and now you say you'll leave without a struggle. You hold up in your room for so long that I thought, you didn't want me around. To be honest, I want to stay here, I do. I think you should do whatever pleases you. Huh? You can stay, or you can leave. I will not pressure you to do one or the other. So, I'm not imposing? To tell you the truth, I had to think about that for some time. However, I have now come to something of a solution. Since you're here, come into my room. The room okay. But I thought I wasn't allowed to. Prevent what almost happened a few moments ago, so we don't accidentally run into each other. Sorry. Like 2 weeks-ish? You're forgiven. Now come in. Okay. His gaming pad. Yep. Is this a necklace? If that's what it looks like to you, then I suppose that means I succeeded. Pick it up. Ah. It has a little bell. It's adorable. Please make an effort to wear that while you're in the house. As it's so dark, there will always exist the risk that we might accidentally bump into one another. So I tried to come up with a way to reduce that risk. Does that mean you didn't leave your room because you were working on this? That's right. What other reason would I have? I think most people would assume it was because they had put you in a bad mood, or that you didn't want to see them. I have little sense of how most people see the world. Sorry. I appreciate it, though. I'm really glad to know that you put so much thought into a life together with me. It would be difficult not to after the other day. I'm so happy right now. Can't think of any better word to describe it. In her joy, she just gives him a hug. She's like, oh. I couldn't be happier. You're being dramatic. To tell you the truth, I feel a little bad about it. Why? It seems rather impertinent to affix a bell to someone. It seems rather impertinent to affix a bell to someone. You're not livestock, you're a person. That's why you turned it into a necklace. Thank you very much. I'll keep it on me at all times. I really truly appreciate it, Lord Mikhail. Don't call me Lord, please. Alright then, I'll just call you Mikhail. And will you please call me Giselle? The windows. What? We could open the windows. Never mind. Just thinking you wouldn't need the bell at all if we could get some light in here. It can't be opened. They're rusted shut. All the windows have been shuttered for as long as I've been here. I assumed you had boarded them all up. That was done long before I ever arrived. After so many years here, though, I hardly consider it an inconvenience anymore. It also serves to repel wanderers. Oh, really? Is there something odd about that? No. Just I realized I had the wrong impression about a number of things. As I learn more, I see things in a different light. Or lack of light, but you know. See you in a different light. And I'm sure there's still plenty more for me to learn. Of all the people I have ever met, you are perhaps the most difficult to predict. Not only do you have no aversion to the darkness, Dark has always been a close friend of mine. Which isn't to say I dislike the sun. Its light can simply be a bit too strong for me. Oh, okay. There it is. I'm like some kind of unholy monster that can't be exposed to sunlight. You are anything but unholy. My name would suit you much better than me. To be fair, Sora, that's your mistake, not mine. I do really like the way that it looks, that they're holding the sword in the silhouette. But also, what? That day, when I first saw Giselle, I was wary of her, apprehensive. I didn't want her anywhere near me. But as my doubts about her faded, I began feeling something very different. As though the lump in my heart had been melted away. I began to yearn for her to be at my side, knowing full well it couldn't possibly last, knowing full well how foolish it was. I found myself captivated by her. I found myself wishing to have her stay with me. Well, if there's anything we know... If there's anything we know about this mansion, is that it really likes to grant wishes. And that marked the true beginning of their quiet days together in the Dark Mansion. They acknowledged and accepted each other's presence, no longer isolating themselves, but actively, regularly conversing. As mundane as it might seem, it was something they had been unable to obtain until then. Nevertheless, they were still somewhat fumbling around in the dark with one another, drawing closer and pushing away again. Mikhail, in his own ungraceful way, was beginning to open himself up to the things she said, and the white-haired girl was beginning to smile with greater frequency. They had taken to dining together, and her wish of learning to read was being granted. They'd taken to dining together, until one day he said, "Could you pass me the salt?" and he taught her in the feeble light of a candle placed upon the table, the two sitting across from one another. Though Mikhail seemed to be well educated, he had not been instructed in the art of teaching, so he found the process quite grueling. But to the white-haired girl, the longer it took, the better. Her primary objective was, after all, to spend time with him. The days passed, and eventually she reached the point where her comprehension was adequate enough without assistance. Her next request, then, was for them to read through a book together. Maybe? Yeah. Have you read every book in the library? No. I stopped looking at them after a while. Most everything I'm sent is dull, uninformative dreck. The Diary of a Lord, foolish make-believe tales. You're not fond of fiction, I take it. What value is there in the lies and fantasies of another? Stories can be invigorating. Tales of adventure can take you places you could never go. Legends of heroes, folklore, stories of otherworldly phenomena. Yeah, clearly out. It's the oldest house. I mean, clearly, it must be. Legends of heroes. Yeah. They can be terrifying and they can be exhilarating. They may not be real, but wrong word. They may not be real, but they give you a little glimpse into the author's heart. That you feel like you're seeing the same thing they saw. You are a very empathic girl. Fiction inspires nothing of the sort in me. However, perhaps long ago, it may have been able to, though I can no longer remember what it feels like. I'm sure it'll come back to you. You're not an empty man. Sorry, I'm making you uncomfortable again. How about we read this book today? It appears to be a collection of legends. You haven't read this one yet, then? That's good to hear. It'll be more enjoyable if it's a new experience for the both of us. Looks like it's a record of local legends. The book is divided into several sections, though it appears to be mostly superstitions. I am curious what kind of stories this area has. The two of them were looking down at a simple, undecorated volume. As the white-haired girl had said, it seemed to be a collection of local legends passed down generation to generation. They sat across from one another at the table, her turning the pages and Mikhail simply watching so as to not brush against her. Eventually, her eyes were drawn to a particular word on one of the pages, bringing her hands to a stop. The witch. That chapter detailed the story of a witch, or more precisely, it said witch's curse. The story went something like this. There once was a witch skilled in the dark arts. She lived a meager but peaceful life alongside the other villagers. But then, a long, long drought struck the village, which the people blamed on the witch. The witch was sentenced to death, and as the fire blazed around her, smoke rose high into the air. The smoke soon became rain clouds, blessing the village with an end to the drought. The crops were revitalized, and the villagers fancied themselves heroes. However, the rain also brought madness upon the people. Though the earth below them was lush and fertile, the villagers were losing their minds. They eventually began to take each other's lives. The witch still lived on, in the form of a curse. Many fell victim to the witch's curse, though it did not only take, it also fulfilled people's desires. The villagers had gone mad, but their wish for freedom from the drought had been granted. Thus the legend has been passed down as follows. The witch will grant your wish in exchange for a great sacrifice. As smoke in the sky, she watches down upon us from above. To reach the witch, climb for the heavens, but know that road is a road to destruction. People still believe the witch's legend even now, I suppose. That's why I face accusations of being a witch. This is not an area very welcoming to outsiders, especially one who stands out as much as you. What brought you to this region in the first place? Mine is a story I'm sure you've heard before. I was cast out of my home. I come from a very poor family. We could barely even afford to keep everyone fed. Being as weak as I am, it was only natural that I would be the first to go. I see. What I don't understand, though, is why the witch is said to grant people's wishes. That is to say, she had reason enough to hold a grudge, but not to give people things they asked for. All we have to go on is a few pages. There's no saying what might have been changed or added over time. It's almost certain the entire legend isn't written here. That said, if we are to accept everything as written, you can infer what the witch's reason might have been. And that is, if you truly want it that much, you can have it, but I'll make certain your suffering outweighs it. Yeah, that's the house in Fata Morgana. Yeah. Yep. Every chapter can be summed up as, if you truly want it that much, you can have it, but I'll make certain your suffering outweighs it. Yep. Despair that comes after a moment of happiness is far more agonizing than despair alone. That could also be the subtitle of this game. The House in Fata Morgana. Despair that comes after a moment of happiness is far more agonizing than despair alone. I presume that is why the witch decided to grant people's wishes. That is one way to look at it. May I ask you something? Go on. When I first arrived here, you told me that a cursed witch used to live in this mansion. After reading this legend, I'm now finding it hard to believe you made that up simply to scare me away. I appropriated the tale, nothing more. It is said the witch was born in this house. What? Quite the place my family found for me. But it was a clever decision putting me here, I think. Not many people are likely to come near a house with such a pedigree. But... no, never mind. That makes sense. I suspect I know what she was going to say then. If the witch is said to grant wishes, then wouldn't that also attract people who so desperately want something? They do not care what price they may pay. And perhaps she was correct. Perhaps there had been those who had come to the mansion chasing after that legend. And perhaps they had encountered Mikhail, touched him, and lost their lives. On that day in the garden, he had said, "Many things are buried here." Perhaps that included such visitors. Yeah, no, the house is forever. The house is. Yep. Crackpot theory time. Okay. I wonder if that story might be more than mere superstition. If the witch of legend really did exist, what would you do? Carol becomes the maid. Has she touched anyone? Other than us, who we are explicitly told to hold her hand this entire time, have we encountered her actually having physical contact with anyone else? I don't think they've explicitly said it, but they also haven't explicitly avoided it. I don't know. No, the guy from the last chapter, after he was stabbed, woke up and saw her as his wife, as the white-haired girl, and they definitely touched for a bit. I don't know. See, my crackpot theory is that the white-haired girl is the witch, and it's not something she's doing intentionally, but she's granting herself what she desires, and then, you know, despair. This price is going to be near the white girl forever just to watch her fail to get happiness for so long. Okay. Yeah. The house has not... Considering all of these are explicitly being viewed from the point of view of the house, we have not seen her this chapter. We are holding her hand, we are talking to her as viewers. But every other chapter, she has explicitly been there. She talked about, as you said, yeah, she talked about what she thought of the white-haired girl as if she was here. But we've seen no evidence of that from the house's point of view. Which would mean the maid could be the witch? Realistically? The mansion could be the... Who the hell... Like, I don't know. The only way I can imagine either the white-haired girl or the maid to be the witch is if it is a power that is a passive thing not in their control. Yes. But if she's having this effect on people and she can't control it or doesn't even know it necessarily, it could still be the case. The same with the white-haired girl. The white-haired girl could be just the witch reincarnating over and over again if it's not intentional. It could be either maid or her for sure. But if it's an intentional thing, then I don't know. She did. You are correct. See, the thing is, like, we have such not enough information that all of the crackpot theories sound equally viable. Ah, yes, house. Mm-hmm. House MD. Like, my gut is that it's the white-haired girl is the witch, but, like, Nothing you have proposed has sounded like, no, that can't happen. It's like, no, that sounds as likely. So yeah, if the Witch of Legend really did exist, what would you do? It might be nice to talk to her, maybe. That's all. Really? I feel a little bad for her, though. The only people who ever visit her are there to ask for something, after all. Ramen is the witch. Ah, wait, so you kill Potts. Potts is the witch. I can only imagine just how lonely that must be. I swear, I cannot comprehend the way your mind works. So sorry. Although, if we assume the legend is true, I have an idea what climb for the heavens might mean. Oh, the mansion has an observation tower, or I suppose what used to be an observation tower. At any rate, it is quite a tall structure. This is the house where the witch was supposedly born. A tower reaching for the heavens seems like the perfect place to find her, if she really is here. Exclusively called a witch this whole game, and I metagame too much. That's fair, but that also means you'd never expect it. Like, it's one of those hidden in plain sight things. Every time an interaction like that happens, I just imagine Potts in that Yu-Gi-Oh gif of just like with the bright light. It's just, I imagine that's the level of counter that happens when Potts sees 6B. Yes, I remember seeing a rather tall structure as I first approached the mansion. Would you like to see it? God, Biggini's ass obliterated. Yeah, that one. Of course. Please, lead the way. That's the intensity I imagine from just you seeing 6P there. The two of them left the library and made their way to the room with the stained glass window. At the far end of that room were the stairs to the observation tower. The tale of the witch had piqued the white-haired girl's interest, inspiring her to put herself forward to satisfy that curiosity. She had, after all, been accused of being a witch herself, so she undoubtedly felt an affinity to the legend. What a sweet girl she was. So Mikhail has to go first up the stairs, right? Because, like, what if she loses her balance and falls backwards? With Mikhail in the lead, the two climbed a long, long spiral staircase. There were many more stairs than the white-haired girl had anticipated, and she soon found herself short of breath. Rectangular windows were carved out of the stone in regular intervals. Peering through one of them, she could see a village in the distance. A pleasantly cool, high-altitude breeze brushed across her face. After much climbing, they finally arrived at the top, where a door made of partially rotted wood stood. Mikhail pulled open the door, revealing a small room with no windows or doors in sight. This is the top of the tower. Despite it being called an observation tower, you could hardly observe anything from there. Her face contorted in confusion. Yeah, I guess we're here. Indoorception. The white-haired girl threw her gaze about the room. Glancing up, she saw only a darkened ceiling, and slightly below it, a single small window through which shone a little ray of light. The beam cleaved through the darkness like the sharpened blade of a beautiful sword. The darkness draped over the rest of the room only served to make more impressive that solitary ray of light. It had a magical fairy tale quality to it. As if being pulled in by it, she drew towards the light. I suspect there was once a large window in this room. If you look closely, you can see seams in the stone over the wall. The color of the stone differs slightly on either side of the seams. I presume something caused them to seal off the window after it was built, though I don't know what that something might be. No, this is our first time seeing her in this chapter. We saw her silhouette a few times. When Mikhail's eyes fell upon the white-haired girl wrapped in that beam of light, he sputtered to a stop. The man who never flinched at anything, who had long since distanced himself from such stirrings of the heart, was utterly bewitched. Not captivated, not entranced, not smitten, bewitched. He had never seen her illuminated so vividly before, and She was having a great deal of trouble finding the words to describe her striking beauty. For someone who had been chased out of her home and accused of being a witch, the white-haired girl looked less like a practitioner of the dark arts and more like one of the hosts of heaven. Mikhail undoubtedly felt the same way, for his gaze was affixed firmly upon her. Dazzling, isn't it? Like a staircase leading to heaven, which would make for a great tune. Yes, perhaps so. Something the matter? No, I'm fine. You know, it feels like there's something odd in the air here. It feels like someone actually might be listening. If the witch were to speak to you, what would you say to her? I would ask her to tell me her true feelings, to tell me what kind of person she was, and what kind of pain she had to endure. I just wanted to know what she felt. This woman people branded a witch. Yeah, someone like 900 years from now should write a song about that. The legend was written from a neutral perspective. It's possible she was a fearsome witch. It's also possible she wasn't. I get the feeling she was just persecuted, like me. It's definitely not projecting, like me and you. Unlike you, I truly am impure. Disagree all you want, but my touch kills. I'm a strange, incomprehensible, irrational creature. Maybe I'm not even a living being. That's why when I touch something that is, I bring them death. If only I actually were a witch. If only I actually had some kind of extraordinary power. Regardless of whether it came from God or the devil, then I would be able to grant people's wishes. My wish need not be granted. But it's what I want too. I wish to be able to touch you. I would be perfectly content with nothing changing with us and never being able to touch one another. I would be more than happy with that, but I'm allowed to dream, aren't I? It doesn't have to be in this life. I pray the day will come that we can get closer, even if it has to happen in another life. She says, in the illumination beam, in the tallest tower. Well, I mean, not for nothing. Oh. I just wanted to see. I just wanted to have a Holy. I just wanted to confirm the exact wording she was using while in the light. That's all I wanted. Holy crap. I'm gonna keep scrolling, don't worry. It will all come back to you eventually, and then I'll be there with you again, my dear, whispering into your ear for centuries to come, and this time I will not fail. I'll mold your soul into the same shape as mine. I must say, I am impressed you made it back here, my dear. Your soul was ground into dust. Oh, I guess I should go from the top down, but... Okay, hold on. Then we'll go from top down. Oh. It was from the point he looked at her. Yeah, it was starting from the point he looked at her in the beam. As a bit of an aside, I'd like to share with you a fact of life, my dear. Humans have a far greater capacity to hurt, betray, and forsake others than they do to love, trust, and protect them. That is a thing I vehemently disagree with to my core. I 100%, and you might doubt that because I'm very cynical of for-profit corporations and government, but on a human being level, I truly and absolutely, vehemently believe human beings are good, inherently. Hard stop. There are people who do bad things. Yes, bad things happen. Yes, this is all true. Why did that not work? The bot is running, I know. I added a new fish to it. Why did that not fish? Hold on a second.
Fish!
Again, I had the program running. I knew I started that because I added a few new fish before the stream. So, don't know why that didn't work, but there you go. There's your fish.
Naughty.
And that's precisely what the majority of people do. Yes, I believe you know good and well that no matter how much you may trust someone, they're still going to abandon you in the end. My dear friend, the two of us have much more in common with each other than anyone else. We both suffered at others' hands, and we both deserve to have our vengeance. Go on. What's the matter? Make this tale into your reality. Surrender yourself to this moment, to this beautiful story, and remain here in the mansion with Giselle. Watch in this moment, this dream. Who are you? Well, that's a surprise. You actually have a conscious mind. Are you aware of who you are? You know nothing. Who are you? Someone you once spent a great deal of time with. And then we hit, okay, ground to dust, come back eventually. What a wonderful little show these puppets are putting on for us, wouldn't you say? Giselle? Giselle? Indeed, that is Giselle. The white-haired girl standing there is Giselle. Whew. It sounds like there's two people in red text, unless it's a conversation. Well, because originally it seemed like a conversation alternating with their lines, but then, yeah, time to check the backlog more often now. That is such an easy thing to miss, but also, I feel like if you've been paying attention up to this point, it's a logical place to check the backlog. To be like, wait, she just said she wished something while she was in this light. She just stated her wish. Let me get that word for word. Like, I feel like that's the logical time to be like, oh, let me double check that actually. Holy crap, yes. While I can understand wholeheartedly why you would want to have us not miss that, I feel like the impact is drastically higher because we found it. Now, mind you, had we hit credits and not found it, I definitely would be like, so what did you want me to see? And I definitely would have gone back for it. 1,000,000%. We do tend to stumble upon things sometimes. I mean, I miss plenty, don't get me wrong. We stumble upon enough things. Damn. Actually shook by that, though. Like, damn. Happiness is very much a stranger to me. But am I allowed to dream too? You are. We once read a book together. It was by the fireplace. I will never touch you, I swear it. But I would like to dream about it. Damn, that's crazy, yes. Correct, it would have been super cool, but it wouldn't have hit as hard. But it would have been still, like, this is objectively just a cool thing. I'd like to imagine placing my hand upon your cheek. Is it always after his line? No, it's not. It has been in the recent bits. You did not. Those memories are false. Books belong in the library. Why would they be by the fireplace? Yeah, there's definitely two red text people. Like 100%. other than context, there's no real way that I'm telling them apart so far, though. You can. Reach your hand out for me. I will imagine it too. I'm imagining your fingers running through my hair. Oh, just dot dot dot. Brushing up against my skin. I can feel your warmth. There was a wall between them, a wall they could not cross. Curse them, slaughter them, revile them, inflict eternal suffering on all their souls, take revenge on the fools who laughed as we agonized. For if they did, it would mean the white-haired girl's death. No matter how much they yearned for it, they could not touch one another, so they did so within the confines of their imagination, envisioning it in as much detail as they could manage. It was sad, but sweet. A moment of pristine, untainted beauty. Oh, it's back to words. Okay. I don't know. Thematically, it makes sense for it to be happening in that room. I don't know fairly often, but we've looked... I feel like we've checked at least once per chapter, because it was always like, oh, this thing, yeah, to get the exact wording of something. So it's definitely possible that, like, it happened, since that only happened in that room, if it were to only happen in certain bits of chapters, I easily could have missed it. But it's very cool, yeah. The two of them emanated serenely. Emanated serenity. Wow. I don't know why my brain was just like, that word? No. As fitting of the word cursed might have been to the mansion as a whole, at the top of the observation tower, a pure bond was being shared. Yeah, and other stuff was happening too. Fleeting moment between a young man with a cursed touch and a kind-hearted, beautiful girl. The dream did not last long, no. The god is quite cruel. Now they simply wanted to be together. Considering you can scroll back pretty far, even if I only checked it every like half hour, it would still probably be fine. But like thematically, it makes sense that it was just there. They simply wanted to be together, that was all. Their wish was hardly unreasonable. Only a quiet, peaceful life together. But misfortune was creeping ever nearer, its footsteps growing more and more pronounced. Yeah, that was really awesome too. That game definitely played hard and loose with reality. Yeah. No, yeah. Like, it was unsettling as a concept when I just realized what it was, but I think as I scrolled up, I think it was when I hit that line where I was like, oh, okay. When it was just like, there's text and a name, like, oh, okay, that's really creepy, that's really cool. But I hit that one, it was just like, oh, this ain't good. Someone at the door. The flow of time was hazy within the mansion's walls. They had little way of telling whether it was night or day, preventing them from knowing exactly how much time had passed. The white-haired girl had made a habit of climbing the observation tower every so often to see whether the sun was up, which allowed her to approximate the time of day. Imagine having to climb up and down those stairs to guess what time of day it was. Consequently, when she heard the knock on the door, she was not aware just how deep the night was outside. Forest and beast alike lay quietly at rest. All right, the stores in the cellar are almost exhausted. It must be this month's delivery. Not thinking it was worth bothering Mikhail over, she made her way out of her chambers and headed for the entrance. There had only been a single knock, leading her to conclude that, as before, the servant had simply left the box outside the door. So without a second thought, she opened the door. And there she saw a strange, vagrant man standing in the moonlight. His clothes were tattered, his bearded face bony and emaciated. She gasped, shrinking back several paces. The heavy door began to swing shut, but the man forced it open. Glaring down at her with unfocused eyes and mumbling, Ye the witch that'll grant people's wishes. Oh, so I guess people do show up occasionally. It was in that moment that the white-haired girl realized she had been careless. The man had sought out the mansion because he believed the legend of the witch. And he did not seem particularly right of mind either. Perhaps a result of wandering through the forest for several days, or perhaps it was because he was so beaten down that he thought to ask for a witch's help. In a word, he seemed mad. No, there's no witch here. Sure there is. Don't you lie to me. I can hear the witch's voice. She led me to this house. That would be another good time to have with Hexa. I promise you there isn't. Now please, be on your way. Have you any idea how long it took to find this place? How many days I've gone without food and water? You're telling me to get lost. I don't know what you want from me. I'm happy to give you a little food, so please. Is there really no witch? There's no witch here. It's nothing but a legend. If she does exist, she doesn't live here. I see. Well, that means you're just an ordinary person. Just a person. Just a girl. So there ain't a thing you can do. No, get away from me. What are you doing? Why waste time waiting for ye to get me a little grub when I can just take it all? I'm starving here. Longer I could eat human. You're about to commit a grievous sin. Are you not ashamed to act in defiance of God? God? If I believed in God, would I come begging to a witch? Fair, yeah. How are you talking about pots? I would never. I almost feel like it's actually better if it was just that bit. I'm going to keep checking on the off chance, but I almost think it's perfect if it's just when they were in that room in the sunbeam. Yeah, I'm sure it has potential to be elsewhere too, but like, I don't know. I think it's just the sunbeam, but I am also, it's so easy to just press triangle every now and again, so yeah. I don't fear them, and I sure as hell don't fear people. Who's gonna show up in a house in the middle of nowhere? Who's gonna call me out? Who's gonna stop me? No one. That's who. No one's gonna stop me. No one's gonna offer me salvation. Ah, there's a thought. You're a woman, so before I kill you... What are you doing? What? There's other people here. The white-haired girl lay pinned on the floor beneath the yelling bandit, pleading for help with her ruby eyes. As soon as Mikhail grasped the situation, he tossed his candlestick aside and leapt for the man. The candlestick gave a sharp clang when it hit the floor. The impact extinguished the flame, bringing the mansion to near-perfect darkness. Something glinted in the bandit's hand, and then, without hesitation, he thrust it at Mikhail. Mikhail! How stupid must you be to come at me unarmed? In his hand, the man held a knife, its tip dripping with Mikhail's blood. Red spilled from the gash in his arm, the flow growing heavier with each passing moment. You're the only other person here by the looks of it, eh? Perfect. Take you both out. You. What? You don't appear to know whose house you tried to break into. What are you on about? Regret your ignorance to your very last breath. You're messed up in the head, you madman! Hey, stay the hell back! Think one more step and... I inherited the witch's curse. Let go! Hal clutched the man's face in one hand. The man raised his knife to strike back, but... What's happening? The strength drained from his fingers, the knife falling to the floor. The man writhed in Mikhail's grip. My face, I can't breathe. Leave this place immediately, though you won't get far afflicted with my curse. Yeah. It does seem pretty damn quick, like, you know. Helpless to fight back, nay, helpless to even consider fighting back, the bandit fled from the mansion in terror. In his wake, only the white-haired girl and a bleeding Mikhail remained. I just saw a man's life drained from him, his face withering away, sucked completely dry. I didn't doubt him, but dear God, it was quite disturbing for you, I'm sure. No, not at all. It's my fault anyway, if I hadn't been so careless. Oh, your arm, we need to get that wrapped up. Please do not touch me. You mustn't touch me. The wound is hardly fatal. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be a drain. It seems to just be a death. It's all my fault. I'm so sorry. No, a degree of the blame falls on me for saying nothing. Next time someone comes to the door, let me know. I'm sorry. Please, you don't need to apologize. Well, yes. For once, I'm actually proud of myself. Proud that I could use this terrible ability of mine to do something more than just take life. To protect someone I care about. So like I said, please don't apologize. Alright, thank you. 'Tis but a flesh wound, yeah. Mikhail? I'm glad you're here. I care about you too. Thank you. That definitely could have gone worse, and I definitely foresaw that going worse. Had the flame of Mikhail's candle not gone out when he threw it to the floor, he would have seen a heartfelt smile. Okay. I mean, it's gonna go bad. It's just a matter of when. He would have seen a heartfelt smile on the white-haired girl's face, and she would have seen a flush of red and an awkward smile on Mikhail's normally blank face. He also might have seen a little glimmer on her cheek, where a few drops of his blood had landed. Ah, oh, son of a bitch. They gave me like two sentences.
Hallelujah!
No, this is as far from heaven as you can get, Ramen. I'm sorry. But alas, they had no light. Welp. The collapse of their happiness came slowly, gradually. Perhaps it was because she had touched his blood instead of his skin, but the deterioration of the white-haired girl's health crept along at a relaxed pace. The life was not sucked out of her in the blink of an eye as it had been from the bandit. She merely grew progressively less and less healthy. Amidst her physical decay, she was bestowed with one blessing. Her beauty remained untouched. But as far as blessings went, surely there were others she could have been granted. Could God have not picked something a little better for her? By the time the two of them realized what was happening, it was already too late. The white-haired girl had grown so weak she could hardly leave her bed. Yes? Oh, you are there. I am. Thank goodness. I can't see very well anymore. How could this happen? Thought I had saved you, but no, I did the exact opposite. To be fair, compared to what the bandit had in store, this is still the preferable outcome. It ain't great. This ain't good. You still saved her from a worse fate. We'll go with highly unpleasant experience, followed by death, followed by possibly being eaten. None of that's good. That ain't good. Please, don't talk that way. You did save me that day. But you're on the cusp of death now, and it's my fault. Because of this curse I bear. How could this happen? Why did this have to happen? What am I? Why was I given this body? Kale. Can I ask you a favor? Excuse me. Go ahead. Stay with me, please. As much as you can until the very end. I was going to do as much anyway. Thank you. I'm happy, Mikhail. Happier than I've ever been. And I mean that. You didn't just save my life. You saved me. I've been saved, but only me. Wonder how he'll handle things when I'm gone. If only I hadn't opened the door that day. I wouldn't be leaving him all alone, and we could be happy together for even longer. Yes? Would you please hold my hand? I think it's probably safe now. I will not. I cannot touch you. If I do, I might take what remains of your life. Take your beauty away and force you to die hideous. I cannot touch you. Yeah, I forgot about that. So thoroughly blindsided by the backlog thing. Totally kind of forgot about that whole thing happening. Oh. Dark. 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 It's dark. How long has it been dark here? How long have I been in the darkness? It's so cold here. Freezing. Where could she have gone? Where could she... Giselle, yes, her smile shines so bright, can cast away the darkness. I must take her hand. She's been calling for me for so long. Take her hand, but curse, that would kill her. No. No, no, no. This is all a lie. Oh, true. That would be a logical place to check too. Yeah. I've always been saving in other slots, so like we have that save from the start of the stream. We'd have to fast forward a bit, but we could get there. If not at the end of the stream, like, you know, later. Here. Her. On his way back from the washroom several days later, Mikhail heard muffled voices. Yeah, it's okay. It makes okay. Got it. Oh, good. He was having trouble making out what they were saying, but he could tell it was several men, and they were outside the front door. The fact that he could hear them at all through the heavy door meant they were probably shouting quite loudly. An indescribable sense of unease came over him. Dread. He drew nearer to the door and focused on the voices on the other side. I like the perfect timing of the, piano slide. Even though the music's just looping, it's just blind luck that it synced up with Dread. Just nice. Nice that it worked. They grew clearer, enough for him to make out what the men were saying. Everything's in place. We're ready to kill this witch now. This is definitely the place. That half-dead bandit said she was in this mansion. Listen well. No matter what we find in there, we kill it. It could be a child for all I care. That doesn't change anything. Kill the witch! Kill the witch! Kill the witch! Kill the witch! What he heard beyond the door was a group of men shouting for the death of the witch. In that moment, Mikhail regretted his decision to let the bandit go free, and not watch over him until the moment of his demise. He must have made his way down to the village in search of help, where he revealed what he had found at the mansion. Damn it. But it was too late. Regret would solve nothing. He could neither stop the villagers from raiding the house, nor could he stop the white-haired girl from dying to the effects of his curse. He was helpless to do anything. The gears of his fate had locked him into a path of tragedy and were turning mercilessly on him. The men had begun trying to break down the door with what sounded like a battering ram. While the first strike was not enough to breach the barrier, it was still quite powerful. He was certain it would not hold for long. Mikhail's mind raced. Was there anything he could do about this predicament? How could he escape from the corner he had been backed into? Despite his possessing inhuman powers, he would be powerless against a full mob of adult men. The villagers almost certainly came armed as well. Mikhail. A weak voice came from behind him. Aghast, he spun around to find the white-haired girl stumbling towards him. She breathed heavily, leaning against columns for support. What are you doing out here? You'll only worsen your condition by exerting yourself. I had a sinking feeling, and I heard noises on my way here. It seems that I have brought all my misfortune upon you. Don't say that. If I hadn't come here, this never would have happened. You never would have been in any danger. While I am enjoying this game a lot, this has been a damn interesting experience. I'm loving the writing. It is very thought-provoking. I really do stand against the general proclamation, as stated earlier, that, like, this is another thing that I tend to, at my core, disagree with. The knowledge that something will end, potentially in pain, heartbreak, tragedy, should not stop you from trying that thing. On the more, like, relatable side of things in general, as somebody who is single now, every relationship I have been in, I have either caused the other person harm or they have caused me harm. But I would argue that A, that's not going to stop me from potentially finding a relationship in the future, and B, that doesn't make me regret the time I had. There was one exception. You can definitely regret dating somebody who's literally abusive, but with that exception, it's very much just a core, like, belief of mine of, like, people are good, it is worth doing things even if they might end badly. Those are two just core Viper beliefs. Yeah, I hope so. I really do. If not, it's still, the game has been enjoyable. Like, I am enjoying this experience. I can, just because something isn't the way I see things doesn't mean it's not good. But I'm just going out on that and stating that, like, no, see the positivity, do the thing, row, fight the power, you know. Yeah, exactly. And it's twice in one chapter they've explicitly said things that are just the antithesis of, like, my core beliefs. So I'm just pointing them out, I guess. That's true. And we don't really know the mansion's worldview. I mean, I guess we see some of it, but yeah. Excuse me. Please, Mikhail, hand me over to the men outside. Absolutely not. I will do no such thing. They're here for the witch, aren't they? I'm guessing they're the same people who were chasing me before. The village had a poor harvest this year, I hear. Like the village in the legend. They believe it's the witch's curse. But you're not a witch. They need someone to fill the role, though. So please, hand me over. Oh yeah, for sure. Character, yeah, no, absolutely agreed. It was something put into words that sparked me just saying, like, no, though. And then escape on your own. I could never. Please, Mikhail. I'm the one who's cursed, not you. And do you want me to hand you over? What would I have left then? Nothing. Not a thing. I would have nothing. After so long, I finally found someone who isn't afraid of me, who won't run. I have no interest in a world that would take you away from me, make me live alone once more. To hell with such a world. Mikhail. Would you be willing to die with me? If that's what you wish. Oh yeah, for sure. And that's good, like, and even if it did, I could still appreciate the game for what it is while disagreeing with the thing it says. They did refer to those characters as dolls, that's true, yeah. Then stay with me until the very end. Probably wanted to hear that just as much as him. No, not probably. I did. I wanted to have someone at my side as much as him. It's so lonely not having anyone. To live alone, to die alone. To not have anyone watching over you. For no one to even know you're dead. I simply wanted someone to tell me they're here for me. To be there, to hold my hand. How wonderful that would be. The sense of utter relief it would bring would be enough to cast away all the pain, to allow me to accept all our suffering. So please, tell me you'll... Mikhail and the white-haired girl chose to spend their final moments at the top of the observation tower. They could hear the crash of the battering ram against the door, the shouts of the men, and their stomping feet. But despite all that, the ray of light shining through the little window was as beautiful as always. The room's air of serenity remained unimpeached. For the long climb to the top, the white-haired girl was terribly out of breath. Mikhail considered several times offering her his hand, but the possibility that doing so might rob her of her last scraps of life stayed his hand. Sounds like they broke down the door. Glad we made it up here when we did. So sorry for asking this of you, but don't be. I would have chosen here for my final moments as well. This is the one place in this mansion with any sunlight. The one place I can get a good look at you. Thank you. Truly glad that I was able to end up here. I was able to meet you. I keep thinking because they're in the room. Yeah, no, it's fine. This, you know. And more than anything, that you said you cared about me. Have I managed to become an essential part of your life? Do you even need to ask? I wouldn't be here otherwise. I feel the same way as you, I'm sure of it. The two of us are more similar than you probably care to admit. Can I ask you one more thing? Go on. Would you embrace me? This is to be the end. If this is to be my last chance, then I don't want to end it without having been able to touch you. Please don't refuse me this, Mikhail. Just do it, please. I won't keep you waiting long. Thank you. The truth is, I always wanted this. Dreamed of being able to hold you. I dreamed of it too. Yes. He died of old age but maidenless. And to be fair, we don't know what happened to the white-haired girl in that chapter after she left. We know nothing. There was no confirmation of life, no confirmation of death. All we know was not found by Yavi. So that was the most ambiguously negative chapter, I suppose. Thank you. I'm so very... She's still so beautiful. What a cruel joke. Could you not have given us some other miracle? One that would allow us both to survive? Where are you? Where'd you get off to? Can't find her, damn it. Hey, there's some stairs over here. They lead up. Beneath the single ray of light, the white-haired girl lay completely still. Not even a frail sigh escaped her closed lips. She remained as gorgeous as ever, and was as though she had simply fallen asleep in the sunlight. Looking down upon her, Mikhail determined to do one thing. I will not allow anyone to sully this sight. He gave a fleeting glance back at her pristine corpse, then opened the door and stepped through it alone. Oh, true, yeah. He would protect that room where she lay. Hey, there's someone up here. So this is where you've been hiding, you infernal witch. Wait, that's not the girl. The raucous sounds of their footsteps rang up from below. Shortly thereafter, the men themselves came into view. As he'd expected, they were heavily armed. He glowered at the men, then sucked in a deep breath and shouted at the top of his lungs. I am the witch you seek. I have inherited her... Wow, let me take another shot at that one. I have inherited her curse, and it is I who brings calamity upon you. You hear that? But he's a man or woman, it doesn't matter. Death to anyone who has ties with the witch. Cleanse this earth of all impurity. Kill him! Kill him! Kill him! Mikhail did not flinch at the sight of the men. He stood unyielding between them and the door. He did not flinch when they raised their weapons against him, nor when they pierced his body. Die and take your curse with you. Well, I hope none of the blood splattered on any of the people. That would be a real shame. I have no need for this life any longer. It's all yours. I am cursed to kill even that which I wish to protect, but at the very least I can protect one thing before my life is done. Not even one of you will leave this place. Wither and die by my curse. The blood spilling from his skewered body flowed down the stairs, down and down like a little river, soaking the feet of every single man who had stormed the mansion. This was the last thing he saw before the final grains of life slipped between his fingers, which brought a faint smile to his lips. Yeah, the blood splattered on her. Neither of them had expected what happened next, though for God had a most twisted sense of humor. The white-haired girl had not mysteriously passed away without being robbed of her beauty, or miraculously. Why am I still alive? She had rather not passed away at all. Quite cruel of him, was it not? Mikhail? Where have you gone, Mikhail? Mikhail? I smell blood. Yeah. Well, I don't think that was in reference to us. That was straight up, just God. Like, that was God, capital. Yeah, God has the most twisted sense of humor. Quite cruel of him. Specifically in reference to, like, God sense of humor. At least that's how I took it. Like, I noticed it for sure, because the maid definitely capitalizes us. But I'm pretty sure that was just for, For had he allowed her to die, she would have not been made to witness the scene that awaited her. No. I'm sure you know just what it is, what she laid eyes upon in that moment. The ravaged corpse of her beloved, a torrent of blood streaming down, down, down the spiral staircase, and the sickening stench it raised. No. Why? And his was not the only body. The villagers who had assaulted the mansion had been subjected to his curse. The life drained from their withered shells. Why did this... Kale, why? Why am I the only one still alive? That is a question I cannot answer either. Perhaps his curse did not affect those he loved, as terribly cruel as that might be. I cannot say. Why? You said we would go together. A world without you has no meaning. Had she actually expended her life there in the room at the top of the tower, perhaps this tale could have had a happy ending. Oh, happy. She would have at least been able to have the man she loved at her side until her very last moments upon this earth. That was not what had transpired. She had survived, been left utterly alone. Felt a profound pity for the miserable girl, so I called out to her. Ah. Oh. Would you like to see him once more? What? I have the power to help you meet him again. Who's there? Where are you? Do you know what they call this mansion? So who do you suppose remains on these grounds? No way. You're from the legend. Do you actually exist? Now, I ask you a simple question. Would you like to see him again? I mean, it's literally in the title. But yeah, clearly. The witch grants people's wishes, but at a price. I said I wouldn't ask her for assistance if I met her. But that's all changed. Now that I've lost him, If it's truly possible, then yes, I want to see him. Bring him back to life. Regrettably, I cannot directly meddle with the forces of life and death. However, I can guarantee you this. Your reconstruction. Reconstruction? Correct. To ensure that you remain as yourself in future lives and are not reborn as someone else, your body and mind shall be reconstructed. Pretty sleepy, Viper? What are you talking about? Should go to bed. Yeah, that's fair. As shall his. If you sincerely wish to reunite with one another, if you genuinely need each other in your lives, you will eventually meet again. All I can promise you is eternal reconstruction. What you make of it is up to you. You want to see him again, don't you? You want to hear his voice again, don't you? You want to feel his hand on your cheek once more, don't you? If that's what you want, then you must remain who you are. If you are simply reborn, that wouldn't be you. So there wouldn't be any point, would there? Me as I am, and he as he is. Make up your mind quickly. I will not wait long. I want to see him again. As you wish, sweet little girl. I shall grant you both eternal reconstruction, and pray with all my heart that you can obtain true happiness. Shortly thereafter, the white-haired girl took her own life. She decided she had nothing to gain by remaining in the present time, and that in order to reunite with Mikhail, she needed to make her way to her next life. And thus, the mansion was left bereft of a master to travel slowly through the ages until someone came along to give it life once more. So now we're back, right? But an unfathomable amount of time has passed, and the two have still yet to reunite. Have they, Master? Yeah, so now we're back in present time, because door. You know now who you are, do you not? You remember everything now, do you not? You were present in every single era, the reason for which is as I described in the previous tale, because you yearned to be reunited with someone. That person never showed up in any era. And poor sweet you, having no memory of any of that, lived those lives with other men. Is it any surprise misfortune befell those eras then? The door swung closed, but rather than outside, you and the maid were inside the dull, monochrome room at the top of the observation tower. Yeah, so I guess all the other guys were not Mikhail's reconstructions? So she kept making it to the house, but he didn't. The awe-inspiring ray of light shone not through the lone window high upon the stone wall. Wrapped in a curious, impenetrable darkness, you both stood alone in the room. The maid wore a gentle, but bitterly cold smile as she looked straight at you. It's not your fault. Misfortune befell you. The only force to blame for this is fate. You were always so kind, so pure of heart. You had boundless trust for others and the goodness of people. You were the very image of all that is right. There is no greater misfortune than someone as pure and beautiful as you, being mercilessly thrown into the grinding gears of tragedy again and again. No, we are the white-haired girl. Mikhail has not shown up again since that point, but we have been present in every time. So it had to be, The other masters of the house during those times were just other people who stumbled on the house and were the master of the house for that time. Cool. I still pity you for everything you had to go through. You poor, poor soul. It really does seem like the maid doesn't intentionally bring misfortune on people. She's not like she really because we've heard her narrate a lot of this. She really isn't trying, as best as we can tell at this point, to mess stuff up. But I also feel like she probably knows that the wishes she grants aren't really gonna turn out great. Yes, that's all but confirmed. The maid is Morgana. Like, I'm actually checking for this one, but she literally said, like, that was when I chose to, like, reach out to her right before we heard Morgana. So, like, it's, yeah. Where was it? Okay, well, I can't scroll back that far, but literally the maid talking to us, the viewer at that point, was like, that was when I chose to reach out to her, and that was Morgana, so. Oh, was I mistaken? Like, did I misread that? I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Sad guys getting put in maid outfits. Oh, okay. Is that a list you can make? You must be utterly exhausted. Constantly betrayed, the man you were waiting for never appearing. After so long, your spirit worn down to the bone, you lost any and all awareness of who you even were. Who were you hoping to find wandering into this illusory mansion, cut off from the real world? You and I are the only ones here. The man you seek is nowhere to be found. Have you still not figured it out? Allow me to tell you everything. I am the cursed witch Morgana. Okay, well, there you go. Who haunts this mansion, and you are the tragic plaything of fate, the white-haired girl named Giselle. Did my calling you master confuse you? If so, then I apologize. My habit of calling the master, or mistress, of this house masters, quite deeply ingrained. And yes, that means precisely what you think it does, that I have accepted you as my new master, that I wish for you to remain here, to stay with me. So let us put an end to this journey. Do not worry, there's nothing to fear. We're simply going to step outside the river of time. Nothing unpleasant will ever happen to you again. I will be here with you for all eternity, and I will give you my utmost care. You will not have to wait for anyone. Forget about him, the man you once sought. And I am sure you shall find happiness. Please, do it for me. I've been waiting for you for so long, so very long. I have wanted nothing more than to see you again. But you were continually stolen away from me, despite my sincerest desires to spend my days with you. Which is why I wanted you to recall everything, for surely you would not willingly repeat the same fate, if you knew of all the pain it has caused you to suffer thus far. Spend eternity with me, in the gentle embrace of darkness. The maid extended her hand for you. Her fingers brushed up against yours were as cold as ever, but her breath tickled your skin pleasantly, and her sweet words rang in your ears, filling you with a warmth. You thought back on your time with her in the mansion. She had, indeed, always treated you with great compassion, and nothing she had said seemed to be a lie. And so, you wondered, what were you to do? Whew. I want to say reject. The wish was made explicitly for the two of us, Mikhail, Giselle, to be remade. I mean, look, if we're metagaming here, there's still more to be done sounds like the cooler answer. But when, in the time it took for this to load up, when I figured it would just be a binary choice, I had already made up my mind to reject the offer, so that's what I'm going with. Because I had already made up my mind that that was the option I was picking. Even though, yes, that bottom option, yeah, we're going to save here. Let me do a better save here. Because I keep forgetting that I can't hit square to save. I can quick save, but I can't hit square to save. Again, whether it's right, wrong, whatever, I'm rejecting. Don't lose that quick save. I promise nothing. I'm definitely going to accidentally overwrite that. You could not accept the maid's offer. If what she said was true, you could not give up on your search. You had spent years and years waiting to reunite with someone. Your previous attempts may have been rife with mistakes, but you could not stop trying. Come, Master. Spend eternity with me in the mansion. We will have the most wonderful time together. The sweet tone of her voice, her cold fingers, her icy smile, those were all terrifying now. You had to escape, had to break out of this darkness, make it outside. Master, what is the... You brushed the maid's hand aside. I don't imagine there's going to be anything here, but... As her eyes widened aghast, you fled from the observation tower. Down and down the spiral staircase you went, though not a whisper of a footstep could be heard in the stone tower. The stairs seemed to go on forever. Down and down and down and down. At long last you arrived at the bottom, dashing from the next room without a passing glance at the angel in the stained glass window. The maid had shown you around the mansion, so you knew its layout. Or perhaps you were familiar with it even before arriving here. A large door came into view. The exit was up ahead. Master. The next moment, her voice seized you from behind. You turned back, and there stood the maid, wearing the same smile. Where do you think you're going, Master? I told you, you mustn't let go of my hand. This mansion is quite large. You could get lost if you go walking around unaccompanied. Now come, let us head back. And please do not let go of my hand. It was the same smile she always wore, the exact same, but right now seemed inexplicably ghoulish. The chill that ran down your spine was not from the lack of heat, but utter terror. Come, let us head somewhere else. You had to get out of here. Oh, I know. We can put some more kindling in the fireplace and start a fire. The sweet firelight and gentle warmth will have you feeling wonderful in no time. I don't know who else it would be, but also, yeah, that means she's been putting on a bit of a facade. But it also definitely sounded like she was talking to two people, but I don't know. Or there were two people talking, not she was talking to two people. You had to get out of here. You must be quite disoriented. That's true. Like, the broken down bits of our soul at that rate. Yeah. Maybe it was. Like, that's possible too. Would explain why he didn't really come back. You must be quite disoriented. The impact of regaining your memories has you... Oh. That's a lowercase u. That's a lowercase u. Am I correct? You had to get away. You had to escape. You had to get out of here. Do not worry. I will always take care of you. Keep you safe from anything that scares you. I will be here with you forever. You clawed at the door. It was not barred, so it should open. Nevertheless, it remained firmly in place. Now, you mustn't play around with that. Danger lurks around every corner outside. Fog blocking your sight, sinkholes in the road, a thick forest all around, beasts creeping about in the night. How could I possibly allow weak little you to go out into that? Now come back to my side, please. You have no need to be here. The maid drew towards you. She reached out her hand. Her whole body seemed to be trying to encase you in ice. She wanted to keep you chained here in the darkness. Do not worry. There's nothing to be afraid of. You had to get out of this place. You had to break free from this house of darkness, from this dotting maid, and from the maelstrom of tragedy. You had to remain firm, unyielding in that desire. Your desire to go outside, your wish to be set free. You could not compromise or relent. Your thirst for escape had to be stronger than the maid's intent to keep you here. Yeah, I realized after the fact I said it wrong. It was... The door would surely open. Master, you dashed out into the light. There's nothing blocking your escape outside. No fog, no forest, no sinkholes, and no beast in sight. The light was so bright it almost hurt your eyes. It was a world exactly opposite the darkness within the house. Master, please, wait, you mustn't go out there. Come back, quickly. You could hear the maid's voice, but you kept running through the light, as far as you could go. Wherever you arrived, you were sure that was where you were meant to be. Once, though, just once, you looked back over your shoulder. It was blurry in the bright light, but you could see the mansion there. It wavered like a mirage, as though it could disappear at any second. The maid standing in the open door. She was desperately reaching her hand out for you, but you were far out of reach. It seemed she could not leave the house. Perhaps you felt a pang of pity for her, but you were not sure. And when you could no longer hear the maid shouting for you, your consciousness snapped off. You fell not into darkness, but light. Oh. Hello. Huh? What was I doing again? Oh, that's right. I was on my way to school. What was I doing dozing off in the middle of the road? Not sure. I feel kind of in a daze. We landed in 428. Yeah? Kind of, like I just woke up from a terrible nightmare. In the middle of the day? In the middle of the road? Nothing like that's ever happened before. Is it? Something doesn't add up. Can't remember what I was doing. Like there's a big gap in my memory. What was I doing? Who was I looking for? Need to stay focused. Have to get going or I'll be late. I know this place all too well. It's the same route I take to school every day. There's a vendor along the way that always waves good morning to me. Always? The same route? I know this place. Yes, I know this place. I see it every day. Every day. Nothing changes. It's always the same. My perfectly normal, ordinary, everyday life. Ah, a gentle breeze brushes against my cheeks. My hair flutters as my gaze slides upward, looking at a tall, handsome man with long hair and a somewhat despondent demeanor. I think I know this man. As soon as I see him, I feel like someone struck their hand in my chest and is squeezing my heart. It's hard to breathe, and the overwhelming sense of familiarity hits me on the verge of tears. Elation jolts through all of my extremities. Ah, I know. This is the person I've been searching for. Excuse me. Excuse me. I have to get him to turn back. I have to look him in the eyes. I have to talk to him. We have to be reunited. I don't know his name, and he probably doesn't know mine, but still. This is fate, so... Back to the mansion. What? I must go back to the mansion. Hold on, there's, something I need to tell you. How could I have made that mistake? It was the worst possible decision. I have to make things right. I have to take her hand. I have to make her smile for me. If I can't do that, what am I even alive for? What did I even return from the everlasting darkness for? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. What are you talking about? This time I'll do it. Can you hear me? Why won't you look me in the eyes? If it's not possible in this life, stop, please, listen to me. Why does it keep moving forward? Then I'll just have to place my hope in the next one. Wait, red light! I beg your forgiveness. I made the worst possible decision. Though I will not make the same mistake twice. No matter what form you may assume, I will not err again. I promise I shall come back for you. Giselle. Hey, someone call an ambulance! What's a Nakige? I assume that's a type of visual novel. Someone's been hit by a car. What? Ending 2, coming for you. Well, we got an ending. John returned VMs designed to make you... Gotcha. Okay. I'm sure it's been typed before, but memory good. Alright, so we finally have something on the ending list. There's 8 endings. What's the load button? I think I have to actually be in the game to load. Oh, these are... No, they're still blacked out. We can chapter select at any time, for what it's worth. I haven't done it. Okay, so let's do a continue, and let's see if I can load that file for the other choice. Shouldn't matter which one I load here, so I'm just going to try to quick load. That's true. We can try to check the backlog on it. What's the fast forward button? Ah! Cool. Yeah, then I can quick load from there. That's fair. It's still a little ways in, but it shouldn't be too bad. Especially at this speed. Like, you know. So I assume we have to get either a particular ending or all endings to unlock those other bits, which should be the bonus content that's in the PlayStation version, that we also could have loaded into the PC version if I had stuck with that. It was when they flashed back to that bit. Oh, hold on. Well, there's the quick load button. That's not what I was looking for. Okay. Just going back further in case. There's still some distortion of stuff. From the beginning. Huh. So far, it just seems to be like slowly erasing some of the stuff she's had. I don't think there's anything added. Yeah, it's just blocking out some of the stuff she said. But yeah, it's when they flash back to this window. That's when the other, like, actual screen effect happened. And we started hearing the really messed up sound effects. I'm not going to go through this entire scene line by line, but it does seem like it's just taking away things she's saying. I kind of wonder if there's a rhyme or reason to what it's taking and what's staying. But it's too late in the night for me to do that right now. Okay. So I'm going to go until we get to that scene. So they interact here, and then you talk... It's right... I think it's after the book sequence? Is it still... Yeah, it's still taking away some of her words here. It took away some of his, too. It's not exclusively her. Yeah, it's both this time. Last time it was just her, to the best of what I can tell. Huh. Considering we could have found it at any point, not any point. Like, here's a whole bunch where it's not. Oh, of course the name would be blanked out. Considering the number of places in this chapter it looks like we could have found it, I'm really glad we found it exactly where we did. Though these would have been nice little touches to get us to like check it. It seems like they really wanted to see little ideas of like, maybe you should actually check this a little bit. But that was just the perfect... Okay, I think it's after this sequence where he flashes back to that stained glass window. That's where... Yeah, nothing there. Nothing there at all. Oh yeah, because this sequence, she confesses, he flashes back. Anything here? No. Oh, some. There's got, like, they're clearly not just blanking out random words. There has to be a rhyme or reason. Yeah, he reveals his curse and she reveals her feelings. They both share a piece of themselves. I mean, we knew about the curse, but, like, it's hard to deny. He does explain exactly what it is, and, like, yeah. Maybe it was after the bell that we flash back. Okay, I thought it was after that one. It's probably after the bell. Okay, yep, you got it. Sorry. You totally were telling me that, and I was like, I think, as you were literally saying that exact thing. The bell never came into play. We never even heard the bell after that. I guess it's assumed that that was happening, but we, the observer, never once heard it, had it mentioned, referenced in any way after that. Okay. Ah, what a beautiful story. Much better than the real thing, is it not, my dear? I'm gonna go a few lines ahead. Honestly expected even more. Check it again. Okay. I mean, the one we got was a big one. But I guess that's the extent of what was there. Okay, so if we load quick save, alright, so the one you guys wanted me to pick is the bottom one, right? Like the bottom one? Definitely the bottom one? Okay, kind of assumed. That's honestly the one I'd pick if I hadn't already made up my mind to. We'll do the top first? Nah. Go to bottom. Something seemed off. Not only with the story she had just told, with her, with you, yourself, assuming everything she had said was the truth. Which or not, my mind is made up. Which will strike you first, I wonder, regret or the curse? Seem to be doing just fine. It's only a tale. The witch is real, Very much so. It's not a legend nor a fairy tale. The witch is me. Do I has a name? Yeah, that's right. I wasn't the white-haired girl who had claimed to be the witch. It wasn't the white-haired girl who had claimed to be the witch. That wasn't all. Or do you mean to reclaim your old self no matter the cost? If you do, you're sincerely prepared to do that, then be wary of the tale that comes next. Any tragedy that seems too beautiful to be real, it's precisely that, a fabrication. None of your questions had been answered. You still didn't know who the painting was, or what had taken place so long ago that caused the mansion to summon people to it. You didn't even know who you were, for that matter. There was still more to be done. You had to find the truth. You needed to find someone, that much was certain. But was the story the maid had told correct about whom? And if it was... what about her? What about the woman whose name you couldn't say? The woman who had so cheerfully called you master? We agreed that we would live together, not just in the same house, so we've got plenty of time to add more to the list. And I hope you can make your own list about me too. This is just the beginning, after all. We've got a long, long time ahead of us. Plenty enough to get to know each other now. You must say her name. You must take her hand. You must make her smile once again. You mustn't reclaim your old self. It's dark. Dark. It's dark. It's dark again. Now I have to. It's dark. 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 Constantly engulfed in darkness. You threw it away every single time. I must break out of this darkness. I'll give you a world that's not cruel to you. I must escape and take her hand, because that's the reason. Oh, I've got a wonderful ideal came here. You can curse them with me. I must return. I must reclaim. We can think of new ways to torture them. We'll all be happier if you stay here. Just think about it. Stay here in this world. You'll be right at home. No, I did the best I could for you. Nothing more. This is not where I belong. No matter how much a world of darkness may suit me, you'll never be able to do it. I must reclaim my true self. Well, I mean... this is brilliant. Do you have any idea how terrible a decision that is? Do you have any idea why I fabricated that story? It was all for you. So stay here. Stay right where you are. The darkness suits you better. Remember what someone told you not so long ago? That you could handle the stories because they weren't your own. That you were able to bear the tragedies because they happened to others. If that had been your suffering, if the secrets you had kept buried away for so long had come out, you couldn't possibly have endured it. But you're a sharp one. I'm sure you intended to keep these secrets tucked away forever. Do you really think I am going to let you do that, though? Whatever you try to hide, I'll make sure your beloved hears every last detail. Foolish can you be? Despite all my encouragement, you still insist on getting your old self back. What do you have to gain from that? Nothing but filthy, ugly tragedy awaits you down that path. Don't get your hopes up, my dear. There's nothing for you there. You have nothing. I'm offering you a place by my side. You should just take it. There is no salvation for you anywhere. None. At all. Anywhere. From anyone. Ever. She has long since lost all grip on reality. And you think there's anything you can do for her now? Despite having repeatedly failed to even regain yourself? Super healthy. Well, I suppose if you're going to be stubborn, as much as I don't want to, I have to place a curse on your soul. That's right. The white-haired girl was never at the mansion. I have questions. Oh. There's still a story left untold. What? The fourth door was all a lie. What do you mean? It was not some sweet little tragedy. The story you told was pure fantasy. No, that was the truth. That was where it all began. Yeah, we all play the role of a silly clown. I may be the silliest clown. Because of what happened, then you spent innumerable years lost until you showed up here, and... what? You reached out, grasping for it. You pull yourself in. Your silhouette, which has been hazy until now, begins to take form. Your mind, your consciousness, your heart, your soul, and your body. Who are you? The veil in your mind dissipates. A crack forms in the shell encasing you, then another. The invisible shackles chaining your spirit fall to the floor. Reality fades, and atop the indistinct, foggy world around you, bony fingers appear before your eyes. Long hair, your voice, no. My voice. My body. My fingers. My arms are frail and my joints weak. Despite my resemblance to the white-haired girl, I am not her. This is who I am. I have finally reclaimed myself. You weren't waiting for the white-haired girl. You were waiting for me. That's exactly why I came here. But I have no idea. What are you talking about? I've always waited for the white-haired. There was never a white-haired girl. There was only... This time I must say her name. She is... Giselle. It was only you. Giselle? No, I'm not Giselle. I'm a servant of the house, and I am the witch, the cause. You are not a witch. The witch is someone else. Why do you insist that you're the witch? What changed you so much? Yeah, let's capitalize you. Yes? Question mark? With the information we have at this exact moment, Potts. Yes? But the information is changing on a line-by-line basis, so... I don't know. The shadowy figure in the master bedroom. That was her. A glimpse into her past. I'm sure this is Giselle, but... why is she so different? What happened to the spark she used to have? Where did the light she once shone upon the world go? I have to remember. I must remember. This cannot end until I have. This is no longer a story. No. What I need to face is my past. And her heart. She was not even present in the story she made up. Everything about it had been changed. The past I lived and the wounds she bore were more grounded in harsh reality, not wrapped in a film of fairy tale magic. That was the final tale, and it was all true. That's how it happened. It was a bittersweet story. No, how can you not see this? Yes, it was a beautiful tragedy. But was there even a scrap of humanity in it? Behind the three preceding doors, there had been a constant thread of ugliness and conflicting motivations, but there was hardly a trace of that behind the fourth door. The characters felt like nothing more than characters. Is that what you want to turn into? Is that what you want our history to become? Our history? Our... that... but I don't remember anything at all. You don't remember anything. Oh, I don't want to. I don't need a past or a future. All I have left inside me is uncertainty. Giselle? No. That's not my name. Please stop trying to confuse me. I'm fine with things the way they are. If it means I don't have to hurt, that's all I want. So please, just let me keep being the maid. Let me keep being a guide, not some foolish girl. Is that what she honestly desires? Does she want to cast aside her past for good? If so, then... Ooh. Not everything is a white-haired girl and a dragon in your arm. I mean... Look, if we want the most answers out of this, bottom option, right? There's something to be said, absolutely to be said, about not breaking her. Yeah, for sure it sounds like an end that will not have us reach the truth. But damn, man. She's been through some stuff, man. Some stuff. Yeah, option 2 is the logical option. Anybody who's played a choice-based video game at this point will pick option number 2. I am just saying that there is absolutely a reasoning to pick one. I'm gonna pick 2. Fair, Roman. Fair. Excuse me. No matter what she says, I know I'm right. If she doesn't reclaim her old self, I'll never get to hear her say my name again. I know I'm being selfish here. I can't do that. You're afraid of what you might find we can remember together. I haven't gotten everything back yet myself. So let's open the real door together. There are no other doors to open, but there is. One that can only open by our hands because it exists between the two of us. Not a door of physical form, but the door to your heart. The door to... I grasp her unnaturally cold hand, a hand that long ago once had warmth. If she can't lead the way, then I have to. I must pick up the pieces of our erased history so we can both reclaim ourselves. Find the actual truth. No matter what we may uncover, I will not let go of this hand. No, I mustn't let go of it. Darkness falls over the world around us. The floor upon which we had been standing flickers out existence, sending us dropping into an endless abyss. This dark pit, this is her door, her history, her heart. Let's try this one more time. Not a sweet story, by any means. It's a story of betrayal, anger, hatred. We caused each other pain, but that's the road we traveled. Down that road lies all the answers. That fading of the music. The fourth door. The fifth door. 1099. So, I'm going to save it here because it makes a logical sense to start this next time. Do we want to quick load and see what happens if we take her hand just to get that ending before we end for the night? But I don't want to start this chapter with only a half hour left. This is going to deserve the start of stream. So as long as I hit the right button and I manually save over here, We should be able to quick load to see what that other path will be. I'm not going to go to the other... I won't force you right now, but we'll check that one at some point. Quick load. I gotta make sure not to hit the other button because they don't give you a quick save confirmation. It just saves. The load gives you a confirmation, which is good. Except... That's true, we won't need to go back here. She was absolutely right. You had seen an excess of tragedy. You had borne witness to far too much pain, and your spirit was deeply wounded by it. You could not possibly endure any further tragedy. It's funny, because like I didn't consciously realize what they were saying about the 4th chapter not feeling as humane, but like, the 4th chapter didn't break me. 1, 2, and 3 hurt. 4 was like, that's a tragedy. Like, I definitely realized it subconsciously, because, like, it didn't hurt, you know? The first 3, pain was felt. The last one was like, yeah, that's really tragic, and I guess that explains things. And I didn't really parse that was different until they pointed out, and I was like, oh, yeah, I guess I did kind of realize that without realizing it, huh? And so, if she was offering you relief from all that, perhaps you should accept it. I can... Even if it was just the early chapters as they were, I could see how this was a fairly highly rated visual novel on the VNDB. But it's all the other stuff that's really just like, okay. Like, it's really well written, it's really well done, and even if it was just a bunch of short stories about tragic things happening, it would be a really, really well-written and emotional set of short stories about tragic things happening. But damn. That was really all I knew going into this, is Red Bard recommended it, and it's highly rated on VNDB. To be fair, I bought it on the Red Bard recommendation alone, because they have never steered me wrong, but damn. Yeah. It still takes finesse to do a tragic short story well. And even more finesse to do a tragic short story well, but make someone like me who generally, I can enjoy some tragedy, but I tend to lean towards the positivity side of things, to make me be like, well, I still gotta see what happens next though, you know. To make it so I feel the pain, but want to keep going. So that's already setting it highly. But all the extra stuff is kinda, you know. She had guided you this far, never letting go of your hand, and it was her presence that had allowed you to bear the bleak, disheartening, and wretched tales you saw. Did you really need anything other than her? If she said she wanted to be with you, then surely you were allowed to want the same. Grasp my hand, master. Come, hold it tight. You gently wrapped your fingers around the maid's cold hand. Never again to let go. Never again to remember. Never again to look back upon the past you might have had. The rare, treasured days of happiness, or the bitter days filled with nothing but pain. Excuse me. Pain molded by it. Chaos Child was a time. This game, I feel like, was fairly obvious pretty early on. Like, oh, this is gonna be sad. I was pretty sure, like, pretty obvious that it was like, yeah, this ain't gonna be a happy time. Chaos was a slow burn, though. Like, hot damn. There definitely was like, oh, there's stuff happening here, but like, correct, nothing in the entirety of PsyDV before would prepare you for boxes. Not even all the messed up stuff that happens in Chaos Head. And some messed up stuff happens in Chaos Head. None of that can prepare you for boxes. Nothing. At all. Or the person you were supposed to find. You were fine with that. There was no one to criticize you for averting your eyes from your pain and seizing the opportunity for happiness lying before you. You made the correct choice. I feel like this ending and the no, I'm not going to force her to remember ending are probably very similar. True. Boxes is MSQ. Head, the worst of it was a bad end. Though that was still pretty bad. That was still pretty bad. that straight up stopped me from eating chicken fingers for a while. I have since gone back to enjoying myself some chicken fingers, but like straight up stopped me from eating something I enjoyed for a good while. It's like, damn. Master. Master. Thank goodness you have awoken. I was getting worried there for a moment. What kind of herbal tea would you like to start your day with? I have some wonderful chamomile leaves, if you would like. Or perhaps your tastes have changed since last we met. Tell me, Master. Yeah, I beg your pardon. I allowed myself to get too excited, but we get to be together forever after all. Free of the flow of time, nothing to endanger us or our lives. Just peace and serenity for the two of us. I will serve you forever and ever. Viper can't play Higurashi. Ooh. I don't think Ramen will ever have enough tickets to get me to play both. I accept the fact that there is an inevitable future of this stream that as long as I continue streaming, I will inevitably be coerced into actually streaming Umineko. I accept that short of straight vetoing it, Ramen will amass enough power that will happen. I just can't imagine both. I just can't imagine both. I can't imagine streaming both of them. I will veto it for a short while, Ramen. I really want to play Disco Elysium. After that, I will not veto it, okay? Like, real talk, I want to play Disco Elysium. After that, there will be no vetoes. And even then, I wouldn't veto it, I would just delay it. Like, I'd be like, yeah, sure, after Disco. I really want to play that next. That's actually really important to me. I've put it off for too long, and I really want to play it. So, after that, I will not stop you. So, you know. Does that not sound wonderful, Master? Yeah, there's a reason I'm not doing drastically varied voices this time around, and it's because there were some nights in Great Ace that hurt afterwards. And also, like, let's be honest, I don't imagine the maid and the white-haired girl to have a drastically different voice. I've tried to give at least some inflection between them, but it's also just a lot to swap between, like, Mikhail and white-haired girl, and it's not even that drastically different of a voice. So we're not talking high voice acting here, but it's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's like, I've always known I would like Disco Elysium, and I kind of decided early on I wanted to stream it, but we were in the middle of doing Side AV, and then we were in the middle of doing Phoenix Wright, and then we were in the middle of Somnium Files, and then Nirvana Initiative came out, and then Anonymous Code came out, and then Great Ace Attorney. We were always doing something. And this is the point where I had chosen we were going to do it. I decided to do this game first, but it was always going to be this and Disco Elysium after Great Ace. It was just going to be. Alright. So, I am going to say we'll go for that other ending, because that didn't take too long. I don't think the other one's going to take long either, but that will mean that we won't need that quick save file. And, like, revoice these. Yeah, no worries. It's all good. I could always read it just straight normal talking voice. I try to add a bit of inflection, more or less depending on the game, just to give it a little more je ne sais quoi, you know. But nothing is stopping me from just straight talking through it. The game tells who's talking. You can use imaginations. I always try to give it the little inflection. I'm not a voice actor. I'm not good at that. It's something I theoretically could practice, but I don't. What is inspect your memories? That is how you actually continue the game. So House and Fata Morgana lets you start a brand new game and ending list. But you have to actually go to the memories to load a save file. Alright, so we pick the bottom one, right? But then we fast forward until we get the other choice and choose the other one. Yeah, the first time I went to go start this up after our initial playthrough, I picked the top one, the logical top one, and it started a new game, and I was like, okay. Still more to be done. Then we can just fast forward to get to the other choice, and we'll pick the other one, and then I'm going to save for the night, and we'll pick up the 5th door next week. I definitely didn't piece all this stuff together, for sure, But I definitely had noticed that, like, while that last chapter summed things up in a nice little bow, it definitely didn't leave no unanswered questions. There was still, like, stuff that's like, So, yeah. Clearly we're gonna get to that stuff. Yeah, correct. So, I already know I'm not ready for the 5th door, right? We can all agree that we're not actually ready for the 5th door, right? Like, we're gonna do it. We're definitely gonna do it next week. But I'm not ready. Like, already not ready. Alright, I won't force her. I can't force her to do something she doesn't want to. If she doesn't reclaim herself on her own, I'll never get to hear her say my name again. But if she wants to leave all that behind her, then it's not my place to interfere. I've done things that would warrant her wanting to rewrite her past, erasing me entirely. But I think, more than anything, I'm afraid of hurting her, of breaking her any more than she already is. No, mine is a more cowardly fear. I'm just afraid she'll no longer take my hand. Alright then. What should have been behind the door was our life together. But for her, there's nothing but misery there anymore. In our time together, and in me. Forget everything I've said. The tale within the 4th door was the whole truth. I can live with that. I would just ask you to allow me one thing. To remain by your side. Of course you may. I was the one who asked you to forget about everything and live in eternal darkness with me. Yeah, that was the ending we just saw, huh? True Morgana. The Fata Morgana. Yeah, maybe, you know. Yeah, it definitely didn't mesh with me that the red text and the maid were the same. It didn't, unless she was doing a damn good job of hiding her motives, which definitely could have been the case, you know. But, like, it makes more sense to me that that's a different level of power outside. What a silly question. Did you think I would ever say no? Right. You did, didn't you? Yes, I did. Worry not, I will banish the memory. I am sure you were simply disoriented at having learned who you are. There is nothing to fear. Only happiness awaits you. I'm getting excited now. What should we do first? Oh, I know. We should throw a party in commemoration of your decision to remain here with me. I shall prepare the most wonderful feast, my sweet girl. So you forget all about him, alright? If that is what you desire, I will never be anyone, ever again. You're not the brightest, are you, my dear? You knew this is what would happen if you took this road. You would have been happier going down it without reclaiming yourself at all. Ah, this is absolutely brilliant. A weight has been lifted off my shoulders. My centuries-long wish has finally been realized. The one thing I didn't expect was for you to recover yourself. But it all turned out the same in the end. You know what? Sure. I'll stay out of your way. And I'll pray for you both to be happy. Oh, that is a different... I just assumed that was the maid talking, but that is actually different. Yep. 10-year plan. Yeah, no, this is actually the witch. Okay. Season 2 of the anime. Oh, okay. I just assumed because if we're going with the maid's memories right now, then the maid is the witch and we are the girl. So I didn't blink twice at it, but like that was definitely Master. Oh, thank goodness you've... Is this going to be the exact same as the other ending? Because it should be. It's just, it should be the same as the other ending, that little twinge of, you almost figured it out, didn't you? I was getting worried there for a moment. What kind of herbal tea would you like to start your day with? I have some wonderful chamomile leaves, if you would like. Perhaps your tastes have changed since last we met. Tell me, Master. No, that will do. As you wish. Say, Master, can I hope for you to compliment my tea again? To say it's the best you've ever had? Master? Oh, yes. I'm sure I will have something nice to say about it. Oh. You are never one to withhold your praise, Master. I'll see him shortly. Such a gentle-mannered, kind-hearted girl. Have I ever praised her tea before? Do I recall telling her when I saw her gathering strange weeds in the garden for her herbal tea? That doing so at this house, given its reputation, only made her look like a real witch? And how did she react to that? I think she puffed her cheeks and frowned, and then... Can't remember. She thinks I'm the white-haired girl, yet she calls me Master, completely oblivious to how absurd that sounds. But she won't say my name. Eventually, I'll probably forget it too. My name, who I am, everything that's happened to us. Washed away by the darkness, never to be found again. She's smiling. No, it's not real, but I honestly don't care anymore. All that matters is that she's smiling. A little different. So what's really throwing me for a loop is that only brings us to 3 out of 8. So there's more choices ahead. We're going to have some more. Well, that'll be fun for next week. Yeah, we don't have any of the middle ones there. We can do chapter select config, and I think backdoor is just... I don't want to hit it in case it's something else. So, but yeah. Cool. This is going to be a time next week. I should be good for next week. There's a small like card thing going on nearby, but I think it's earlier in the day, and it's also super close nearby. So unless it is a thing that's running late and seems really super cool, and I don't go earlier in the day, all of which seems unlikely to sync up. So yeah. Oh, is it literally inverse? Yeah. Ah, it's literally the negative. You bastards. How dare you? You bastards. I didn't put that together. That's very good. Ah. So yeah, shockingly, game good. Game continued to be good. Tomorrow, we are going to move on the path to finishing Expedition 33. I don't know how much we got left, but we are committing to the path. I've done all the optional things I wanted to, and even some I didn't expect to be able to do. We're committing on the path to story. So, if we finish it tomorrow, Tuesday we'll continue Atelier Yumia, because we kind of started that one and left it off for good reason. If we don't finish it, then Tuesday we'll be finishing it. I can't imagine it taking more than 2 streams from where we are in Chapter 3 to finish it, right? Or Act 3? I can't imagine. But if it does, cool. If it does, we'll continue it Thursday. But I can't imagine it taking more than 2. It feels like we're at that point of things are going to be going. So, yeah. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for watching. Tonight's been, holy crap. Like, all of the streams of this game have been good, but I really feel like tonight has been, I think I know what's happening. I have no idea what's happening. Oh, I think I know what's happening. I really don't know what's happening. I really don't know what's happening. I have a faint glimmer. Nope, that's gone. Oh, I'm back. It's been a night. It's been a night. Obviously, extra shoutouts to Grim for dropping their 90-month resubscription, and everyone in chat, hanging out, having a good time, hopefully enjoying the game. I'm cooked. I'm back. Yeah, that was the whole everything. Yeah. So, whew. We got ourselves a monster, a port, a Discord. Death Stranding. I can't wait for Death Stranding too.
Yeah, you did it! Oh, God. I'm kill everybody.
That's the perfect sound effect to end it with. Nothing I could play would be better than that after the quote. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for watching. This has been Viper of Viperland. I'm going to get some food, get some sleep, and I'll see you all next time.